Okay, so we got the first bad ending for Ayumi. He has... Oh gosh, I just forgot how many. He has three final endings, and then he has one more bad ending we can get. But we're going to load up, I think, this choice because I picked the one I thought would get a bad ending and it was wrong. All right, power up Haruka with augment. Or pass augment, then will be the best way to stop the kaiju. After a short exchange, I held Haruka's hand and cast augment, imagining that I was charging her up with my energy. You should stay back. I doubt this will take out Hyuga or Yukonami, so watch out for them. Got it. We put our plan into action, but the situation still wasn't looking good. Oh, not skip. Well. Alright. Let's run. Leave it to me. Don't push yourself. Don't push yourself. I went and held Haruka's hand as she was about to fall. What do you think will happen if I don't push myself? Just lend me your strength. I couldn't let Haruka keep using up all her strength, but we needed her power to get out of the situation. We need to end this right now, and to do that, I'll cast augment then. Haruka's determination motivated me. I gently touched her arm and concentrated. You got it? All right. Let's see. We entered the teta and walked a short distance before I plopped down on the ground, my energy completely depleted. My transformation came undone as well. Really glad I'm back first. Haruka also sat on the ground, but she was still transformed. She used more of her power. Haruka must be that good. We sat together for a while, and soon Haruka's transformation came undone, leaving Ayumi next to me. After that, Ayumi gestured to his wrist as if he was worried about it. Looking closer, I saw he was actually touching a bracelet he wore, which resembled prayer beads. Is that Ayumi's charm? Ayumu's. I used too much power. Did you say something? I thought I'd heard him mumble something, but Ayumu just shook his head. Don't mind me. He looked away after saying that, but then he turned back towards me as he remembered. There's one thing I want to ask you. What's that? Could you forget what I said earlier? Oh, I knew immediately what he meant, but there was no way I could forget. Ayumi stared at the ground awkwardly. I felt like I had to clarify a few things. I won't force you to talk about it, but I can't just let it be after hearing all that. Something about a deal and research. Just you or your parents? So you heard everything. I didn't think you'd be the kind to let things go. You're so predictable, I just can't help but sigh. You always have to go back to the insults, don't you? Ayumi was sarcastic as usual, but I could sense an underlining sadness and fatigue in his voice. It's a long story, and it's not interesting. Do you still want to know? I do. I want to know exactly what burdens your shoulders. After hearing what you said, I can tell it's a sad situation. That's why I want to know. If it's what's making you upset, I want to help. Upset, huh? I don't feel anything about it now. It's been my life for such a long time. I've accepted it. Ayumi then began explaining his background to me. My parents are top-tier researchers. Dedicated their lives to research. It was their only priority. Many people were surprised when they married and had children. People thought they had no interest in anything, in anyone, or anything but themselves.
2人は子供の誕生、つまり
Then they
僕が
had
生まれ
me
たことをとても喜んでい
and
た。
seemed genuinely happy about it. Okay, I'm going to... If this is going to be a long background story, I don't care about his voice. No one expected that at all. Even I didn't understand my parents. It was like I only saw their backs when I was growing up. It was so rare for us to talk face to face that I don't even remember what their faces looked like. That's why I didn't understand when people said they were overjoyed when I was born. I couldn't associate that emotion with my parents. I wonder what joy was exactly. I had all those hazy doubts about our relationship, about whether this was what a family really was like. My world was so narrow and I wasn't able to figure out any of it. When you say narrow, you're not just talking about living in Tetsu, right? That's right. It was even more narrow than that. I rarely ever left the research district, let alone Teta. From when I was born until I was about school age, I only lived inside the research district. All I remember was the drab walls of the lab and the smell of chemicals. And then I realized Tokyo was always with me. I didn't want to talk to him at all in the beginning. His parents were also researchers, so I assumed that's why he was there. That's all I thought of him at first. But I soon found out that he also possessed psychokinesis, and we were placed in training together. We both trained our psychokinesis while the researchers collected data on us. We started to understand what our roles were. Just like how the researchers had their jobs, our job was simple by... It's not that I hated it. I was proud that there was something only we could do, but when I was with Tokyo, I noticed something else. Sometimes Tokyo's parents would come and visit him. They would ask how he was and worry about his health. They'd even pat his head occasionally. In contrast, my parents rarely showed up. When they did, they'd stay behind the glass and talked with the researchers taking my data. That was when I started to feel uneasy. I realized something was off because I had someone else to compare things to. My parents were different from Tokyo's, and I knew the difference was bad. I felt awful about it. I had my doubts about our relationship between parents and children and I started to come to the worst possible conclusion. So you were with Tokyo the whole time? Were both of you born with your powers? That's right, and this is related to that. The conclusion you mentioned. I figured it out when Ritsu was born. Rizzy? Toot toot. Dwah! I found out about this later, but they pretty much finished gathering the initial data on Tokyo and me by 4th birthday. We entered the phase where any growth in our psychokinesis would be up to our own efforts. But since I was so young, I had no idea that had to do with Ritsu's birth. One day, a researcher told me my parents were going to have another child. I didn't think much of it when I heard about it. Tokyo didn't have any siblings, so I tried to find out what it would mean to have a sister and imagined what it would be like. After learning a little bit, I assumed that she'd be smaller and weaker than me. But Tokyo and I were excited at the thought of another kid joining us. What we couldn't do with just 2 of us might be possible with a third. We talked a lot about how we could welcome her. Ooh, hang on, I'm gonna cough. Ayumi smiled as he reminisced. I could imagine little Ayumi and Tokyo eagerly awaiting Rizzy's birth, and it made me smile too. It sounds like you and Tokyo were pretty adorable. I wish I could have known you then. I thought he would get angry when I said that, but Ayumi just nodded. It's true, I was more curious then and sought out friendships. We might be through the main part, so I can go ahead and turn his sound back up. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Oh no. Alright. Oh no, I hit the button again.
両親がそばにいない分、余計にそうだったのかもしれない。
Not having my parents around made me wanted to have friends
だ
all
か
the
らこ
more.
そ、リツが自分たちの仲間になるのも、
That's why I couldn't wait for
楽し
Ritsu to
み、
join
あの
us.
頃が一番幸せだったのかもね。何も知らず、ただ、時男と二人で遊びのような訓練をするだけだったから。
I think I was happiest back then. I was unaware and just looked at our training as some kind of game. Ayumi smiled didn't waver as he spoke, but for some reason I sensed a hint of sadness behind his expression. So what ruined that happiness?
現実を知っただけだよ。幸せだと感じていたものは、無知がゆえに見ていた。
I learned the
幻のような
reality.
ものだったんだ。
My happiness was only due to ignorance. It was an illusion.
それからしばらくして、ついに僕はリツが生まれたという連絡を受けた。
After a while, they told me Ritsu
研
had
究
been
者
born.
に連れられて、久しぶりに両親のもとへ自分から会いに行ったんだ。
The researchers took me to my parents. It was the first
久
time
し
I'd
ぶ
seen
りに
them in a
見る
while.
両親は相変わらず背中を向けていて、
Despite
僕の
that,
顔を見なかった。
their backs was at me yet again. I couldn't see their faces.
傍らにいる小さな存在に目を奪われて、そんなことは気にならなかったんだ。
But I was focused on the tiny being in front of me, so I didn't care about them.
まだ目も開いていないくらいだったけれど、僕が手を差し伸べると、小さな指を動かした。
Ritsu couldn't open her eyes, but when I reached out to her, I saw her little fingers move.
実際に会ってみた妹は、得ていた知識よりもずっと弱々しい生き物に思えたよ。
My sister was far weaker than what I'd imagined from the info
同
I'd
じ子
gathered.
供でも、僕とも時男とも全然違う。初めて見る赤ん坊に僕はすっかり夢中になっていたんだ。
She was different from Tokyo and me, and even though we were both children, I was enthralled seeing a baby for the first time.
僕がリツに夢中になっていると、不意に誰かに腕をつかまれて、
I was mesmerized, but then I felt someone grab my arm.
それは僕の父親だった。
I looked up and saw my father.
今でも忘れない。あの時父は母に向かってこう言ったんだ。データを取ろう。
I still haven't forgotten it. Record the data. That's what he said to my
そして
mother.
母はこう答えた。どちらがより適性があるのか見極めないと。
My mother said we have to see who has the higher infiltrate.
その時の二人は僕のこともリツのことも見ていなかった。
They didn't even look at
ただ
Ritsu
お
or
互い
me.
の
They
顔を
only
見
looked
て
at each
話
other.
をして、僕のことを連れてきた研究者に機材の準備を指示していただけだった。
They only looked at each other as they ordered the researchers who brought me to prepare the equipment. What
つ
data?
まり僕もリツも両親にとっては研究材料の一つに過ぎなかったということだよ。
Ritsu was just another research to my parents. I expected him to say something like that given what he told me, but hearing him say those words was still shocking. Is that really true?
僕は生まれる前に遺伝子操作を受けている。特別な能力を持つようにね。
They manipulated my genes before I was born so I'd
それ
have
が僕の
powers.
両親の研究だったから。特別な人間を生み出し、それがどう成長していくのかデータを取っていく。
I was the subject of my parents' research. They wanted to give birth to special humans and record how they
研
grew
究
up.
対象が自分たちの子供であれば研究も容易になると考えた二人の利害が一致した結果、僕とリツが生まれたんだ。
They probably thought it'd be easier to get what they wanted if their subject were their own children. That's how Ritsu and I became. What do you mean they manipulated your genes? They basically gave you
厳
powers?
密に言うと、それは本当の目的の副産物みたいなものだよ。
It's more of a side effect of the real goal.
まあ、それはこの話の本題じゃない。君には関係のないことだ。
It isn't important right now and has nothing to do with you. I didn't think that was strictly true, given I had similar powers, but there was something more important taking my attention. Why would a parent do that to their own
だか
child?
ら僕たちは親子であって親子ではないんだよ。研究者と研究対象者という関係性なだけだ。
They're technically my parents, but not really. We are the subjects and they are the
初め
researchers.
から情の通った親子関係なんて存在しなかったんだ。
We weren't a family from the start,
もっ
that's
と
the
言うな
answer.
ら二人は夫婦ですらない。利害が一致しただけの同志のようなものだ。
My glasses are, I can't read. I am Thelma. Alright, I'd also say those two aren't even husband and wife. They're just colleagues with a common
だ
goal.
からその間にできた子供に対しても愛情なんてものがあるはずもなかったんだよ。
That's why they don't feel any kind of love towards their own children. Ayumu's explained all this without any emotion. As he said earlier, he wasn't sad or upset. It was as if he felt nothing. He might feel that way, but I can't accept it so easily. How did Ayumu react when he was a child?
僕は無知だったけれどバカではなかったからね。両親の様子を見て瞬時に自分と律が置かれた状況を悟ったよ。
I might have been ignorant, but I wasn't stupid. Seeing how my parents acted, I knew right away what kind of situation Ritsu and I were in. Right away? Wasn't that
予
painful?
感はあったと言っただろう。だからあの時の感情に一番近い言葉は
I already
腑に
had
落ち
my
た
suspicions.
か
So
な。
the biggest feeling I had at the time was that it all finally made
ああ
sense.
これが答えだったんだと。
That's the
思った
conclusion I
だけだ
came
よ。
to.
それに僕には自分のことを嘆いている暇はなかったんだ。目の前に律がいたからね。
I didn't have any time to grieve any sort of loss. Ritsu was right there.
僕には律が真っ白に見えた。無垢で何も知らず何にも汚されていない純粋そのものの存在だ。
She was a blank slate. She was innocent, unknowing, untainted. She was
この子
pure.
がいつか僕と同じように両親と自分の関係
I've
性を知
actually
ったらどうなるんだろう。
compared this story to Dead Man's Wonderland, and this gives me that same vibe because in Dead Man's Wonderland, one of the researchers had a baby so they could experiment on the baby. They changed their mind after they, held their child in their arms, but similar concept. But what would happen if she found out about our relationship with our parents
そう
like I
思った
did?
ら胸の中に何とも言えない感情が生まれたんだ。
This inexplicable emotion grew inside
多
of
分
me.
自分と同じ立場だけれどまだ無垢な存在のこの子を守りたいと思ったんだと思う。
I saw her in the same position as myself, so I think I wanted to protect her
だから
innocence.
僕は両親に取引を持ちかけることにした。
That's why I struck a deal with my parents. That's what Haruka talked about when she was going in and out of
自分には
consciousness.
何をしても構わない。その代わり、律には絶対に手を出さないでほしい。
I told them I
So
didn't care what
yeah.
happened to me. But in exchange, I told them to keep their hands off Ritsu.
もちろん4歳の子供が言う言葉なんて、初めはまともに取り合うことすらしてもらえなかった。
They didn't take me seriously when I
だ
was
から
4.
僕は行動で示すことにしたんだ。
And that's when I decided to take
両親が
action.
行う
I got
テス
high
トには
scores on all
全
tests
て
my
優
parents
秀な
gave
成
me.
績でパスをしたし、サイコキネシスの能力も
I
今
put
まで
in
以
my
上に
effort
伸
to
ばせ
improve
り、
my
そうしているうち
psychokinesis.
に両親の僕を見る目が変わってきたんだよ。
That way my parents looked at me, as I kept that up, the way my parents looked at me started to change. So they accepted your
ああ
deal.
そうだ。僕がこの先ずっと研究材料として逸材であることを証明し続ければ、
They'd agree as long as I continue to
取引に応じると言って
prove
きた。
I'm a superior research
多分
study.
そういえば、僕が律のためにもっと能力を発揮するかもしれないという。
I'm sure they
加算も
assumed
含
I
ま
would
れていた
exhibit
とは思
higher
う。
abilities for Ritsu's sake. It's like they're holding Rizzy
その通りだ
hostage.
よ。でも、 僕にとっては別に苦じゃなかった。
That's right, but I don't
む
mind.
しろ律が現れてから初めて僕は自分自身の存在価値を見出せるようになったとも言える。
Once Ritsu came into the world, I finally saw the value
自
of my
分が何の
existence.
ために努力をして生きるのか、それが明白になった後は何も知らなかった頃と比べ物にならないくらい充
I had
実
a
していた
reason to
よ。
work hard. When they became clear to me, I felt incredibly fulfilled, far more than when I was simply
時代
ignorant.
と二人きりだった時に感じていた幸せとは別の生きがいがある人生が始まったんだ。律のために生きる。
This happiness was
それが
different
僕
from
の
when I
全
was
て
with
だ。
Tokyo. It gave my life meaning. Living for Ritsu is everything to me. It was finally clear why he was so protective of Rizzy. He was putting everything on the line for her happiness. That I understood, but is it really for the best? He's living for someone other than himself. Ayumu said he had been ignorant. He also said he learned the reality of his situation. While it was true he had gotten a dose of reality, in my eyes, I'm still on the reprimand. I'm on the repent, a small part of the world. Only represent, I know what I'm about to say. The research district, his parents, and Rizzy, the narrow world decided his entire life. Ayumu, do you really feel that that's all you need? Can you say with certainty that your life now is everything?
僕は僕の生き方に満足しているよ。律を守ることが僕の本望だ。
I'm content with the way of life. I'm giving my all to protect Ritsu. Just to be clear, I don't think any of these people should date. There's so much. Hyuga, I think Hyuga's the only one. And Hyuga was abusive, so he wasn't good. He wasn't good for that. But in terms of like mentally being stable to date, Hyuga, I think, was the closest. His tone was so gentle, but it saddened me for some reason. A few other emotions were bubbling up in me too. He no longer thought of his parents as parents and had dedicated his whole life to his sister. Pure rage filled me as I thought of the people who forced Ayumi into this situation. Your parents are just horrible. They don't show you any love, and now they're controlling your entire
親に
life.
強制されたから選んだ道じゃない。今の話を聞いていたらわかるだろう。
You idiot. My parents didn't force me to choose this path. You'd know that if you were listening. I think this because I was listening. Ayumu, the fact that you can be so calm about this makes me sad and frustrated.
どうして君が悔しいなんて言うんだ。そんな風に僕のために怒ることはないのに。
Why'd you feel that way? There's no need for you to be angry on my behalf. I looked at Ayumu. He sounded so troubled and his expression seemed so kind at that moment. I'd seen his face so many times before. I'd seen his public-facing smile, his cold stare, his angry expression, all were as a part of him. But I think I've finally seen the real Ayumu, who is deep down. I thought I'd wanted to know more about him, but now it felt like I was in pain and I didn't know why. Is it so wrong to be mad?
怒る必要はないよ。僕がもう納
There's no
得して
reason.
いることなんだから。
I'm doing this willingly. There was a gentle sense of rejection in his voice, and I understood why I felt hurt. I wanted to help Ayumu, but he doesn't need me. Maybe that's why I feel this way. We both remained silent for a while. There wasn't any reason to say anything more, so I kept quiet. But then he finally broke that
僕は
silence. Ayumi reached out to me. I didn't know what would happen next, so I just watched. Right before his hand touched my cheek, he stopped.
みんなが来たかもしれない。
Looks like the others are here. You're right. Ayumi pointed, and I could see a few silhouettes running towards us,
もう一
including
度変
Kayori.
身しておいた方がいいね。できそ
Better transform, are you able to? I can. I transformed as Ayumi suggested, and we waited for Kayori and the others to arrive. What was Ayumi going to do before they showed up? I wanted to know what Ayumu was going to say. I wonder too if we get a cutscene, not cutscene, but a picture for them all in their girl form, because we've had two now. I wanted to know what Ayumi was going to say, but we just ended up talking with the others and heading back to the command center. I'm exhausted. I flopped into my bed once I returned to my dorm. I used too much of my power and felt completely drained, but I was also more awake than ever. I didn't think I could fall asleep, so I ran through everything that happened today. Now I know what a unique upbringing Ayumu had. If I had been in his position, I would have been so confused when I found out why I'd been born. When I thought about it that way, it seemed a little odd to me that Ayumu was immediately thinking of Rizzy after finding out about his situation. Wouldn't it be so easy to accept it? Maybe I just don't understand. Perhaps he's avoiding his own feelings by focusing so much on Rizzy. Couldn't come to an answer in my mind, in my answer no matter how much I thought about it. Ayumu might not understand either, so there was no way I could figure it out. Besides, I'm not that close with him yet. He'd practically been forced to talk about his upbringing because of what happened. It's not like he chose to open up to me. That was clear when I felt that sense of rejection from him. But why did he reach his hand out to me? Was he starting to open up more? If so, I couldn't just leave things the way they were. Moreover, I don't want to just abandon him. He seems particularly vulnerable right now. His whole background was shocking, but the thing I remember most was when Haruka collapsed surrounded by flames.
僕が死んだら遺体は両親に引き渡して焼け死んだとしても骨が DNA さえあればそれで取引
If only I understood half of what he said. What are you
取
talking
引しない
Oh, wait, we're getting the whole... I don't need the whole flashback. I was there. It was like Haruka had been willing to die. I couldn't get that image out of my mind. Ayumi's parents viewed him as a research subject, but the person who thought of him that way the most was Ayumi himself. He had been living this way since he was 4. Was it possible for him to change his thinking? I decided to speak with Ayumu again a few days later and waited for him in front of the student council room. The answer is simple if I only consider what I want to do, no matter what Ayumi may think. I should tell him how I feel about all this, even if he rejects it. I turned when I heard footsteps and saw Ayumi walking towards me. Good
ま
morning.
た来たの
You came again?
話ならこの前散々したと思うんだけどまだ話足りないとでも言うのかな
I thought I told you enough, but you still want to know more. Irritation flashed across Ayumi's face for a brief moment, but it wasn't the same cold stare I'd expected previously. There's something I wanted to say to you. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I just feel like I have to tell
ずっ
you.
と考えてたって僕のこ
About
とを
what? He sounded so surprised that I realized maybe I had said something embarrassing, but I couldn't back down now. That's right. I couldn't help thinking about how after what happened.
本当に
Really are so. Perhaps I've been too direct. Ayumi hesitated for a moment, but soon spoke again.
入って中で話そう
Come in, we'll talk inside.
それで
So what's on your mind? Ayumi, I fully understand that you've accepted your way of life, and that you think nothing of your parents. And I don't really have the right to comment on that. I respect your feelings.
なら何も問題ない
Then there's no problem. Well, that's true, but after hearing about your circumstances, I'd like to tell you my thoughts. But it's up to you whether you want me to hear them. Just a few days ago, Ayumi would have stopped me right there, but he didn't.
わかった聞くだけでいいなら聞くよ
Fine, I'll hear what you have to say. He turned to me, ready to listen. His willingness to hear me out bolstered my courage. I'm not gonna go with the Rizzy one because that seems like a bad option because that's still just him living for another person. Don't be so willing to die. Please don't be so willing to die.
はるかが言ったことをまだ気にしているの
Are you still worried about what I said as Haruka? Of course, I can't just ignore
何を
it.
言うかと思えば君がそんなことにこだわる必要はないよ
I was wondering what you were going to say. That's none of your concern. But Ayumu didn't seem to care about himself as usual, so I tried my best to explain. I didn't used to think about death. But that's different now. Joining the Blooms has forced me to think about it all the time. Or to be more exact, I have ever since I lost Liz. When someone close to you dies, it's difficult to describe how you feel at that time. You're sad and in pain, and it's unbearable. I feel so helpless, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was like that every day.
君が苦しんでいたことは知っている。
No, you
でも、
suffered.
君が友達の死に苦しむことと、僕が自分の死を受け入れることは
You
全然違
suffering
う
over
よ。
your friend's death is different from me accepting my own.
僕だって、律や時を失ったら、正気ではいられないと思う。
I wouldn't be able to stay sane if I lost Ritsu or
大切
Tokyo.
な人が死ぬのは悲しい。それくらい分かっているよ。
It's terrible when you lose someone close to you. I know that. He said it so plainly, but I shook my head. No, that's not it. What I meant was that I don't want you to regret your life regard your life so casually. You talk about your death mechanically, as if you're something that will just break down like it's nothing.
それで間違っていないよ。言っただろう。僕は律のためだけに生きている。たとえ死んでも、あの子が守れるならそれで。
I already told you I'm only living for Ritsu's sake. As long as I can protect her, I don't care if I die. That's what I'm talking about. Why are you giving up on yourself so easily? You think Rizzy and Tokyo are precious, right? Why would you assume you're not?
大切?
Me? Precious? I know even I'd be affected if you died. It would hurt if you passed away for Liz. It would hurt if you passed away like Liz. And it makes me really sad to see you just throw your life away. And angry. I said I'm angry. Really, I was trying to convey how I felt, and I ended up getting all emotional. I even surprised myself when I said that.
君、何を言っているのか
Do you
分かってる?
understand what you're saying? Ayumi was also clearly confused, but I decided to keep going. I might have chosen the wrong words, but they were closest to how I felt. When I first met you and as our student council president, you were friendly, but I could sense you had this emotional wall. It was like you weren't real.
そんなこと思ってたのか。
That's what you thought. Wasn't it true? You were always smiling, and we never had a genuine conversation. I didn't know what you were like deep down, but when we fought, you were much more real with me. I really thought you were terrible, but I was happy to see that true
嫌
you.
な人って、また喧嘩でもしたいの?
You're trying to pick a fight with me. Ayumi sounded exasperated, but there was a gentleness in his voice. I said I was happy about it. I think it's good that we fought. But you know what? I feel like you... I felt like you then put that wall right back up, or rather like you tried to run away. It wasn't
ずるい。
fair.
どうし
Why is it not fair? Because you weren't really going at me, you know? You fought with me all the time, and you said some awful things, and then you just kind of gave up. You gave up on life and tried to run away, and that's not fair. If you're going to make me mad, at least follow through till the end. Don't give up so easily. Don't give up on your life like that. My emotions poured out. I knew I wasn't making much sense, but I couldn't stop. I just want Ayumi to live. If I can convey that to him, then he can think whatever he likes of me. I couldn't look him in the eyes and kept my gaze down. Soon I heard him speak.
君はむちゃくちゃだね。
You're really all over the
本
place.
当にむちゃくちゃで。
Seriously. What? I heard Ayumi laugh, and I looked up to find him smiling.
参った。僕の負けだよ。まさかここで喧嘩のことを持ち出されるとは思わなかった。
But in what way? I lose. I didn't expect you to bring up our fight like that. Where am I, flowchart? How we doing, flowchart? Still here? Okay. Oh, we got another chapter. We're at 3. 3 is going to lead to 4. 4 is going to lead to the end. Okay. 45% completed of the story. We're doing it. Actually, I should also check our status and see how much. 50-50. I don't like that it's not straight. It should be like this, but they tilted it. I don't like it. But they look the most compatible in this photo. Like, they have the matching little ribbons. I don't know. She looks real tall, though. They could have made her height. I didn't expect you to bring up our fight.
しかも言うにこと書いてずるいとか。 君には今までも理解しがたいことをたくさん言われたけれど、今日のが一番だ。
You said it was unfair of all things. You spotted off some nonsense in the past, but this really takes the cake. Ayumi laughed when he said he lost, but I actually felt like the loser here. Why are you laughing? I get that I may be talking nonsense, but when you laugh like
ごめん
that,
ね。君をバカにしているわけじゃないよ。バカだと思っているのは、
I'm not making
むしろ
fun of
自
you.
分に対してだ。
I just think I've been foolish.
正直僕は、今すぐに生き方を変えられないと思う。あの時と同じ状況になったら、また同じことを言うだろう。
To be honest, I won't be able to change my life right away. If I got into the same situation again, I'd probably say the same things.
なんでかな。今この瞬間だけは、自分の生き方とか、死ぬこととか、あれこれ考えるのがバ
But
カ
for
バカしくな
some
った
reason,
ん
in
だ。
this moment, all the stuff about my way of life and dying sounds so ridiculous in the grand scheme of
ただ
things.
君が僕のことを見て、僕が思いもよらなかった言葉をたくさん話して、それがすごく面白くて
You observed me and said a lot of things I hadn't considered. It's also
笑い
funny.
たくなった。こんな風に笑ったのは子供の時以来かな。
That's why I laughed. I haven't laughed so much since I was a kid. Ayumi reached out to me then, his hands brushed against my cheek before resting on top of my
笑
head.
えてなんだかすっきりしたよ。
Laughing made me feel better, thank you. Ayumi stroked my hair gently as he said that. I felt strangely embarrassed by it, but couldn't look up. But I didn't need to look to know what kind of expression was on Yumi's face. I don't want you to die. That's the only thing I wanted to tell you, but ended up saying a lot more. But if you were able to laugh because of it, then it's
まる
worth
で
it.
僕が笑ったことを僕以上に喜んでいるみたいに見えるね。
You seem happy about making me
本
laugh.
当によくわからない子だよ。君って人は。
Why are you so concerned about me? Because I almost just gave some response out of reflex, but I stopped myself. I spent a lot of time thinking about Ayumi, but maybe he was right. Maybe I was just wanting to see him smile. I don't know why myself, but it did make me really happy. As you said, I was glad to see you smile. I decided not to dye anything and just admit it.
そう。
I
それ
see.
なら今日君がここに来たことは
Then it was a good thing you came here today for both of us. We felt quiet. We felt quiet for a while after he said that. However, Ayumi continued to stroke my hair even though we were silent. Your hand's still going. I didn't know what else to do but say something. My hand?
なんだか君に触れているのが心地よくて
I don't know why,
嫌だっ
but
た。
that feels nice. Do you not like it? I don't hate it, but I don't know how I should react. It's just embarrassing. I can't really look at you in the
なる
eyes.
ほど。
Ah,
つまり頭じゃない方がいいのか。
see, so you prefer another place then? I looked up at him as I didn't think that was the right conclusion to draw. As I did, Ayumi continued
そ
to
れじ
speak.
ゃ
Like here? Bleh. He pinched my cheek and I let out a weird sound. Ayumi, what are you doing?
変な顔だね。
You look really funny. That comment irritated me, so I grabbed his hand and pulled it away. It's your fault I look like that. That's a rude thing to say.
そうだね。でも僕は君の膨れた顔を見るのも好きみたいだ。
Yeah, it's great to be with someone who likes seeing you mad. I like looking at you when you're all pouty like that for some
と
reason.
いうより、いろんな顔を見るのが好きかもしれない。これ
Oh
は
my
ちょっ
gosh.
と面白い発見だよ。
This is flashbacks to a demon I dated. I like the different sort of expressions on you. What an interesting discovery. What's that supposed to mean? I thought about snapping back with some sort of retort, but Yumi beamed with such happiness that any anger I had disappeared. That's when I noticed something else. It feels like something's between us has shifted. There used to be this irritating feeling like we'd never understand each other, but any tension we had was completely gone. We were both so peaceful and relaxed in that moment. Dun 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 dun. I wonder if Rizzy's already here. A few days later, I was going to meet up with Rizzy for the first time in a while. I made my way to the courtyard, but was surprised by
こ
what
れ
I
から
found.
リスと出かけるんだって。
So you're gonna hang out with Ritsu now? Yeah, that's right. Ayumi whispered his question. He'd been waiting with Rizzy and came up before she could. Ayumi, are you still unhappy about Rizzy hanging out with me?
違うよ。前に会ってもいいって許可しただろ。
It's not that. I said the other day it was fine. It's just... Hey. Rizzy approached hesitantly after Ayumi and I were talking.
実はお兄様も一緒に来たいと言っているんですけれど、ご一緒しても
Oh.
構わないでしょうか。
My brother asked if he could join us today. Would you mind? Wait, are we on the new... Okay, we're on the final stretch. And there's a picture here, and then there's no picture here. And then there's a bad ending. And there's a picture for all endings for him. Interesting. My brother asked if he could join us. Would you mind? He wants to hang out with us. I certainly wasn't expecting that at all. I yelled without intending to, and Yumi looked a bit
そんなに
annoyed.
驚くことじゃないだろう。僕だって出かけたい時くらいある。
No need to be surprised, like getting out too on
リツと会
occasion.
うのも久しぶりだし、君とも話してみたいと思っていたんだ。
It's been a while since I spent time with Ritsu. I'd like a chance to talk to you too.
二人の邪魔をするつもりはないよ。買い物をするんだろう。だったら荷物持ちくらいするよ。
I won't interfere with your plans. You're going shopping, aren't you? Then I can at least carry any heavy bags. I thought we had come to some sort of understanding in the student council room. But mulling over what he said just now, I couldn't help but think he had some ulterior motives. So you felt like going out, so you decided to tag along. Is that it?
今そう説明しただろう。
What I said.
別に無理にとは言わないよ。君が嫌なら素直に言ってくれればいい。
If you don't want me to join, you can just say so. It's fine. Let's all hang out. Ayumi had sounded more disappointed than I expected as I involuntarily agreed to him coming along.
ああ、よかった。お兄様ったら急に一緒に来るとか言うんですもの。
Thank goodness. I know this is all so
断ら
sudden.
れても仕方がないと思っていたんですけれど、あなたが一緒でもいいって言ってくださって嬉しいです。
I
I figured there'd be nothing to do about it if you said no, but I'm glad you agreed. I wouldn't say no. I'm happy for Ayumi to join
な
us.
らよかった。決まりだね。
Great, then it's settled. Ayumi smiled at my response, which made me regret suspecting his motivation. Besides, I'm happy to hear that he wanted to talk more. Once decided, the three of us endeavored to enjoy our time
それで
together.
今日はどのあたりに行くつもりなの？リツはあまり街に出かけたことがないから少し心配だな。
So where are we going today? I'm a little worried about you, Ritsu, since you don't go into town
3人
often.
でいれば大丈夫だろうけれど、万が一にもリツがはぐれたりしないように、僕は後ろからついていくよ。
It'll be fine with the three of us, but I want to make sure you don't get lost. I'll follow
君は
closer.
隣でリツのことをしっかり見てやってほしい。
And Gio, I want you to stay close to Ritsu and keep an eye on her. I see you're still overprotective. The general relaxed atmosphere made me feel bolder, so I just let him know what was on my mind.
君は相変わらず一言余計だね。
Himiwa, and I see you still speak more than necessary. He's acting just like usual. Relief washed over me when I saw his familiar, sarcastic smile. It was just easier to talk to him when he was like this. That may be so, but I think you say too little, Ayumu. You should talk more. It's such a shame that I'm the only person who experiences the joys of getting to know your sarcastic
へ
side.
え、君も言うようになったね。
You really just keep
し
going.
かも、
And
リ
you're
ツがそば
saying
に
all
いる
this in
のを
front
分
of
かっていて
Ritsu.
こんなことを言っているんだから、君の方がよっぽど嫌なやつだよ。
If you ask me, your behavior is much more appalling. It's more appalling to hide who you really
それ
are.
が歩み寄ろうとしている僕に対する態度なのか？
Is that how you're gonna treat me when I'm trying to
君が態度を
compromise?
変えないなら、僕もまた考えを改める必要があ
I
りそう
might
だ
have to
な。
reconsider my actions. Our friendly banter was quickly escalating into a fight. Then we suddenly heard laughing coming from the side of us.
お兄様とあなたって仲がいいんですね。
You two seem really close. What?
リツ、今のを見て、
What could possibly make you think that,
だ
Ritsu?
ってお兄様がこんなに話すのは時お兄様といる時くらいですもの。
Tokyo's the only person you talk to that
この
much.
子は
She's different from Tokyo. Ayumi denied what Ritsu said, but it didn't come off as cold, I decided I should voice my opinion too. Let's keep it. 66. Oh no, that means I'm so close to hitting 100 saves. They didn't plan this well. Look at this. Look at this. It's getting in my way. Okay. I'm glad to know the real you. I'm not overly fond of your sass, but I'm glad to know the real you. So while it's not great that we argue all the time, I think it's good we can be open like this. Ayumu's face lit up with a genuine smile when I said that.
素がこれだから嬉しいなら口が悪いのも我慢しなよ
This is how I really am. If you're glad to know me, then you'll just have to accept my sharp tongue. So have you decided not to hide how you really are from
君
Rizzy?
のせいだろそれにどんな僕だって律は悪く思ったりしない
This is your fault, and Ritsu
So-
wouldn't harbor any ill feeling towards me no matter what. Is that right?
ずっと尊敬しています。それに私もお兄様たちの今みたいな会話を聞くのが好きです。
That's right. I always have respect for you, and I love that we're talking like this
ほら
now.
律もこう言っているから問題ない
Ritsu's fine, so there's no problem. I felt warmth surge through me as I watched Ayumi and Rizzy smile at each other. It really felt like the three of us had bonded. Alright, let's get going. We better hurry before it gets
そ
dark.
うだね
Quite right. Propelled by our excitement, we quickly exited the school grounds together. And we're walking, and we're walking. It's been a while since I went into town with friends. The elaborate window displays looked even more dazzling than I remember them. Rizzy, let's check that shop.
かわいいお洋服ですね。
That outfit's cute. I'm sure it looked great on you. I actually thought it would look good on you.
お揃いにしてみますか？一緒に試着してみたいです。
We can get the same thing. We could both try it on. Getting the same outfit might be embarrassing, but if we're just trying it
二人とも
on,
前を見て歩かないと危ないよ
watch where you're going. Ayumi calmly guided us as we'd been too excited to pay attention to where we were
Mitsu.
walking.
ドリンクを飲み終わったならゴミを捨ててくるよ君のも貸してそのままじゃ店に入れないだろう
I can throw your drinks away. You better give them to me. Give me yours too. You can't go in the store with it. Thanks. Ayumi had been doing these nice little things for Rizzy and me the entire time. Maybe he's just the caring sort and not only towards Rizzy. I watched as he strode away with our trash. As I thought about him, Rizzy let out an exclamation. What?
あっちのお店にあるのはパワーストーンでしょうか？
I think the shop sells crystals. This one's beautiful. Rizzy was looking out a window for the store next to the bouquet. You're right. It says that that one attracts
石
happiness.
によって意味が変わるみたいですね。こちらは対人関係を良くするもので、こちらは学力の向上。
Each crystal has a different meaning. This one can improve your relationships, and this one helps
律
with your
はどれが気
studies.
になるの
Are you interested in one? Ayumi appeared by our side without me realizing it and perused the shop
律
window
は
as
勉
well.
強頑張っているしやっぱり学力向上かな
Been studying really hard. How about the academic one? Hesitated. She gazed, flickered over to another part of the display. I realized she was eyeing some bracelets rather than an individual stone. Were you looking at the bracelets? They're cute.
素敵だと思います。
They're cute. Ritsu's face lit up and smiled as I pointed the bracelet. Seems my guess was
ブ
spot
レスレ
on.
ットなら僕が買ってあげるよ
I'll buy you one. Which one do you like? Rizzy hesitated again when Ayumi offered to buy her
僕が
something.
プレゼントしたいからするんだし
It's a present. No need to act shy. Rizzy finally answered with Ayumi's gentle
実
encouragement.
は前からお兄様がしているのと
Want one similar to what you wear? I knew immediately what Rizzy was talking about. It's probably Ayumi's charm.
これ
This is... Ayumu faltered and touched his bracelet, then he glanced over at me. Is that, you know... Yeah, it is. Though we only had a short exchange under our breath, I understood what he meant. It wasn't that he was hiding it, he just didn't think Rizzy would notice, so it wasn't sure what to
僕が
say.
身につけているものを律が気にしているとは思わなかったよ
I didn't realize you paid so much attention to what I wore, Ritsu.
別に女の子が喜ぶくらいおしゃれというわけでもないしね。
It's not really the
本
type
当
of
に
style
こ
I
れ
think
と同
girls
じ
would
よう
go
なも
for.
のでいい。
Do you really like it?
似たデザインのものを持っていれば、お兄様と会えない時もお兄様のことを身近に感じられる気がしますもの。
If I had one that's similar design, then I'd be able to feel close to you even when we're far
そしたら
apart.
いつでもお兄
It'd
嬉し
remind
い
me
こ
of
とを言
you.
ってくれるね。
That's very
それなら
sweet.
同じようなものがないか探してくるよ。
Then I'll see if they have something similar. Ayumi couldn't turn down Rizzy's request. After hearing her
中は
reasoning,
狭そうだから一人で見てくる。リスのことをよろしく頼むよ。
it's pretty crowded. I'll go by myself. Look at Ritsu for now. Got it. He was worried about leaving her alone for even a short while. I watched him walk into the shop before turning to Rizzy. He really cares about you a lot.
私も同じくらいお兄様が大切です。
We're the only family we have. She's saying he's her only family. Then Rizzy must not think very highly of her parents either. I didn't know if I should mention their family, but since I'd already heard the story from Ayumu, I plucked up the courage to ask her. Do you not see your parents
あな
much?
たは私たち家族のことをお兄様から聞いているんですね。
Did he tell you about our family? A little bit. I heard they're researchers and they rarely see you, and that you grew up in the research district. I avoid mentioning Ayumu's feelings about everything. Rizzy gave a slight nod.
私の方が多分お兄様よりも両親には会っておりません。
I think I've seen less of our parents than my
物
brother.
心ついた時には施設に預けられていて、そんな私に家族として会いに来るのはお兄様だけでした。
I lived in the facility ever since I was born, and my brother was the only family that
お
came to
兄
see me.
様に連れられて両親に会ったこともあるんですが、あまり親という感じがしなかったんです。
Sometimes he'd take us to see our parents, but they don't really feel like my
だから
parents.
私の家族はお兄様だけだと思っています。白状かもしれませんけれど。
They don't really they don't, ugh. That's why I don't consider my brother to be my only family. That's why I consider my brother to be my only family. I know that may sound heartless. I don't think so. My parents passed away, so our circumstances are different. But even if they were alive and I met them now, I wouldn't be able to immediately feel like they were my parents. Family isn't just about being blood related, the relationships themselves are very important. I tried to convey my understanding by relating it to my own situation. Rizzy smiled at me.
わかります。私にとってはお兄様と一緒によく会いに来てくれた時お兄様も家族みたいなものです。
I get it. Tokyo's also like family to me since he'd come visit my
今
brother.
はあなたもいてくれますし、そう思うととっても幸せです。
It's pure being. And now you're here, Lee. Considering all that, I'm very happy with my life. I'm glad to hear it. I'm so happy to have met you. I do have someone who I consider my family. He's my guardian, and we email each other. Also, Liz came to mind as well. She'd been my friend and confidant, and she had been there for me more than any family. I felt both the dull ache of grief and a sense of warmth just remembering her. Well, she's gone now, but there was someone I really cared about. That I know. I know how much you and Ayumu care for each other, and that's why you're so afraid of losing one another.
もちろん。
Of course. Rizzy empathetically agreed, probably sensing how serious I
で
was.
もお兄様は
But my brother, Rizzy began to say something, but then stopped herself. I followed her gaze and saw Ayumi coming back
待た
to
せ
the
てごめん
store.
ね。これでよかったかな。
Sorry for taking so long. How's this one? He held out a bracelet that looked incredibly similar to the one he wore. It's practically identical.
本当に
It's
私
just what I
いつ
wanted.
も喜んでくれてよかったよ。それじゃあ
Glad.
腕を出し
Hold
て。
out your hand. Seeing how much Rizzy liked it, Ayumi went to put the bracelet on
ど
her.
うでしょうか。
Like this.
そ
Hold still. I hung back and watched as Ayumi wrapped the bracelet around Rizzy's
こ
wrist
れをしてい
and
れば僕のことを身近に感じられるかもしれないとリツは言ったね。
you said wearing a bracelet would make you feel closer to me.
いつでも思っていてくれるとも。
That it reminds you
だ
of
ったら
me.
僕はこのブレスレットに自分の思いを込めるよ。
In that case, I'll think of this
僕
bracelet in
が
the
そ
same
ばにい
way.
ない時も 律が幸せでいられるように。
I wish for your happiness even when I'm not around, and I wish for your happiness to always be
ありが
protected.
とうございます。
Thank you. Ayumi sounded so earnest when he spoke about what he wished for Rizzy. Rizzy was glad to hear it, but something about her seemed melancholic as well. Maybe it had to do with what Rizzy was going to say before Ayumu came back. Ayumu? I continued to mold the situation over after we left the crystal store. I think Rizzy probably already realized that Ayumu doesn't really care about himself. I'd noticed it, so there was no way Rizzy wouldn't, since Ayumu was so wholeheartedly devoted to her. He's important to her, but he doesn't care about himself. I imagine that would make her sad no matter how much love he shows her. Considering all that, Rizzy's downcast demeanor started to make
ぼーっと
sense.
してどうしたんだ？人にぶつかる。
Why are you so out of it? You're gonna run into something. Sorry. Ayumu's words snapped me back to reality, but now I found I couldn't stop staring at his
Nani?
face. What? He looked he looked the same as usual, but I now knew the range of feelings he could show. I felt a surge of emotion when I remembered how earnest he had been with Rizzy. Ayumu, I've come to a
決
decision.
めたって何を？
A decision about what? He looked confused, but I didn't answer his question and turned to Rizzy instead. Rizzy, I'm afraid I have to go home. I just remembered there's something I have to do. Huh? Well, let's hang out again soon. I'll see you later, Ayumu. I turned around and left before either of them could respond. They might think that was odd, but I can't let them find out where I'm going. I don't know if this idea was a good one, but I really hope that one day Ayumu and Rizzy would be able to be truly happy together again, so I decided the idea of mine was worth the gamble. The next morning, I waited for Ayumu in front of the student council room like I'd done
どうして
before.
こんなところにいるの？と聞くまでもないか。
What are you doing here? Well, I guess I should have known. Ayumu said there was some exasperation as he stopped in front of me, but it didn't seem like he
こ
wanted
れ
me
か
to
ら
leave.
毎朝君がここで待っていたとしても、僕はもう驚かないよ。
I wouldn't be surprised if he started waiting for me here every morning. Guess it's become a
入
habit.
って話したいことがあるんだろう。
You want to talk about something, right? Ayumi showed me into the student council room, and I took out a small package from my bag. There's something I wanted to give you.
一応聞くけど、食べ物じゃないよね。
I feel like I have to ask. It's not food, is it? I made a face at him. I had seen how he dealt with food he didn't want numerous times. It'll be a long time before I make anything for you.
まあ、そうだろうね。でも君はも
I
う知ら
thought
ない
so,
人
though
間
I
じゃ
know
ない
you
し、
better now, so I
例
could
外になる
have
んだけどな。
made an
君が何
exception.
かを作って持ってきたなら、食べ
I
ら
might
れる
have
気
been
がする。
tempted to try it. Glad to hear you trust me so much, but it's still not good for you to change your attitude depending on the person. The conversation was veering off course, so I quickly steered us back on track. Could you hold out your hand? My hand like this? Not your palm, the back of your hand.
何を始める気か知らないけど、おかしなことをするなら、
I have no idea what you're doing, but if it's something weird, just be quiet and keep still. Having said that, I now felt more nervous about Ayumu, even though he was the one who didn't know what was going to happen. I hope this goes well. I took Ayumu's hand and placed the ring on his pinky finger. I bought it at the crystal shop yesterday. Why? This is such a weird angle. I guess that works. I had to look at it in real life. The ring had the same stone as Rizzy's bracelet and shimmered slightly when the light from the window hit it. I also wish that your happiness will be protected, Ayumu. Ayumi was clearly surprised, but I held onto his hand tightly to convey my sincerity. You bought this for me? After a pause, Ayumi spoke up quietly. It was difficult for me to tell what he was feeling. Perhaps he didn't like it. I tried to think of a way to explain. After I left you yesterday, I went back and got it at the same
そう
shop.
じゃなくて、どうしてこれを僕に買おうと思ったの？
It's not what I mean exactly. Why did you buy it for me?
その言葉は僕がリツに言った言葉だ。
And just now you said what I said to Ritsu. Now I felt I understood what Ayumi was feeling. He was nervous. I bore that in mind as I continued. After hearing about your background, I thought I understood why you cared about Rizzy. But something felt
僕の
off to
説明
me.
は理路整然としていたはずだ。
I
何
thought
も
my
引っかか
explanation
る
was
ことなん
clear.
てない
What
よ。
could possibly feel off? You may think that, but we probably don't see it because it has to do with yourself. I noticed something the first time when I saw you and Rizzy together yesterday. That you wanted what you were doing for Rizzy. I read it right. That's the feeling I got at least.
僕がして欲しかったこと。
I wanted what now? Exactly. You said that you had this inexplicable emotion when Izzy was born. It could have been love, or maybe it was admiration. Innocent, untainted, and pure. Those were the words Ayumu used to describe Rizzy when she was born. And yesterday he held Rizzy's hand and wished fervently for her happiness. To me, it felt like he was longing for something he could never
僕が
have.
リツに憧れているっていうのか。
Saying that's how I feel about Ritsu. Yeah, you saw everything you couldn't have and everything you'd given up in Ritsu, didn't you?
そんなことはない。
That's not true. Ayumi denied it, but he didn't sound confident, and I knew for certain I was right when I saw his expression. I was just guessing when I said all that, but I'm more sure now. Why? Because you look so happy. You actually look really glad when I said the same thing you did. I looked up at Ayumi, who was a whole head taller than me. Not only were his cheeks flushed, but so were his ears. Are you feeling shy right now?
そんなこと。
Don't ask me that. Ayumi's voice shook with nervousness. He then, "Aw, this looks like Black Butler. What is this? This looks like posing for a picture." Reached out and pulled my head to his chest. Dun dun da da. Stay. I remained where I was, and he continued to hug me. I could tell my face was burning up. However, his hand was so gentle that I didn't feel anything like the urge to run away. I'm a little embarrassed, but I don't
こ
hate
の
it.
まま動かないで。
Stay right there, don't move. Sure. I felt the warmth radiating from Ayumi's body, and any nervousness I had began to subside as I regained my
さっき言
composure.
ってたのはただの真似。
Were you just repeating what I said
僕が
earlier?
幸運に守られるようにっていう言葉。
About how you wanted my happiness to be protected? He whispered his question to my ear, and I gently shook my head. No, I said it because I meant it. You don't exactly take great care of yourself. That's why I wished for
君
that.
はずっと言っているよね。僕が自分を大切にしていないって。
I've been saying I should take better care of myself for a while.
前
Yeah.
にも言った通り、僕は急に生き方を変えることはできない。
Like I said, I can't change my life right away. I've been living this way for so long.
自分の代わりに君が僕の幸せを願ってくれるのは
But if you're wishing for my happiness in my
悪い気は
stead,
しない。すごく心地いいよ。
then it doesn't feel half bad. It's actually comforting. I'm glad. Good. His usual collected tone had returned, indicating that he had calmed down as well. But I could still feel heat from where our bodies touched as we both remained motionless like this for a while longer. Ooh.
今帰り。
Are you heading home now? Yeah, I am. Ayumi approached me a few days later after school. We hadn't spoken after I'd given him the ring, so I felt oddly nervous about talking to him. It's all a bit awkward, or maybe it's more embarrassing. I was trying to figure out what to say when I noticed that Ayumi looked a bit strange. Did something happen?
ああ、うん。 大したことじゃないんだけど。
Are you getting weak? Are you getting weak because you're in love with me? What a weird power play. It's not a big
生
deal,
徒会
but
の仕事をしている間に父から着信があったみたいなんだ。
my father tried to contact me when I was
こん
busy.
なことめったにないから折り返すべきか迷っていたんだけど。
He rarely ever does that, so I was debating if I should call him back. Do your parents ever contact you for anything besides research? It was safe to say I had a bad impression of them. I started to feel worried, but just for Ayumu, not just for Ayumu, but Rizzy
い
too.
や、ほとんどないよ。ましてや学園にいると分かっている昼間のうちに連絡をしてくるなんて
Almost never, and they never contact me during the day when I'm at
イレギュ
school.
ラーすぎて
It's so unusual.
正直少し動揺
It
して
makes
る。
me feel uneasy.
それに律の方にも連絡が行っていないか心配だ。
I'm also worried they'll try to contact Ritsu. You must have had the same thought I
だか
had.
ら先に律に連絡を入れようかと考えていたんだけれど、君を見かけたから声をかけさせてもらったんだ。
Going to call her, but then I saw her and thought I should contact you first. Have you spoken to Ritsu today? I haven't. She said she had to do some student council work as
そ
well.
うか。それならやっぱり一度連絡を入れてみるよ。
Then I should call her right away. Have your parents ever tried to contact her directly in the
Yeah.
past?
用事があるときは僕を通すように言ってある。
No, I told them to go through me if they needed
でも言った
anything.
通り、僕に連絡してくること自体稀なんだ。
But as I said, it's rare for them to even
連
call
絡が
me.
つかない
It's
僕を諦め
possible
て、律に連絡することも考えられる。
they gave up trying to reach me and went straight to Ritsu. I think you should also call your parents back and of course get in touch with Rizzy.
そうだね。
I'll do that. But immediately after Ayumi said that, we heard an
花咲くお時
announcement.
間です。集合して。
It's flower blooming time. Come gather round.
だ
That's
ね。
us.
僕もすぐに行くよ。
I'll be along
行く前
soon.
に両親と律に連絡をするから。
I need to get hold of my parents and
はるか
Ritsu
は
before I
後から
go.
来ると言っておいてくれないか。
Can you let them know that Haruka will be a little
す
late?
ぐに追いつくから。任務には先に向かっていてほしい。
I'll catch up to all of you so you can head right away. Okay. I wanted to know what his parents were going to say, but I couldn't also be late. I rushed over to the command center to relay Haruka's message.
いやあ、今日は君が一番だよ。
We're the
初めて
first
だ
one here
ね。
today.
す
That's
ごい
never
すごい。
happened before. Good for you. As yours, the commander didn't seem at all stressed despite the fact we had a mission. Rose sat next to him in front of the computer and said nothing. He was focused on his own work. I could tell how urgent the mission was from looking at them, so I thought I should ask. But before I could, I heard footsteps behind me.
うちが最後かと思った。
Thought I was the last
み
one
んなほ
here.
ぼ同時ですわね。それで今日はどこに怪獣が出たんですの？
Here's everyone arrived at the same time today, so where are the
また居
kaijus?
住エリアだって言うなら急がないとね。
We need to hurry if we went to the residential area.
今日は商業エリアだよ。とはいえ、急いで欲しいことには変わりがないけどね。って、
No,
はるかがまだか。
they're not. They're not where they. That's not where they are. But we still need to get a move on. But it seems we're still missing Haruka. Haruka is going to be late. She said she'd catch with us.
はるかに会ったんですの？
You spoke with Haruka? Sina's eyes widened in surprise, and I realized it would be better if I didn't let on how well I knew Haruka and Ayumu. He said his identity was confidential, so I better keep it a secret, right? I thought about how best to answer, but then Moko jumped in.
はるかが遅れるならなおさらうちらは早く行かんと。
She's gonna be late. That's all the more reason to get out there. Right. It kept things vague in the end, and we all headed to where the kaiju had appeared. They'd already gotten this far. The kaiju had made it to town, but thanks to the alarms, there were no civilians on the street.
遅れてごめん。
I'm late. Haruka joined us right when we spotted the kaiju. Everything's all right. I was worried about what happened, so I whispered to Haruka. She answered under her breath.
まあちょっとね。とにかく今は
Something happened, but we had to focus on kaiju. Understood. The kaiju required our full attention. I looked at them again and realized there weren't that many. Is that it? There are less of them than we're used to.
今司令と連絡を取ったんだけど、どうやら外壁付近にまだいるみたい。
No, I contacted the commander. He said there's more near the outer wall.
ここら辺におるのをちゃっちゃと片付けて向かわなあかんな。
Then let's take care of the ones here, stat, and get on it.
急ぎましょう。合流されたら厄介ですわ。
Yeah, let's hurry. It'd be troublesome if someone joined us. Got it. Cast. I cast augment on all of you. Great. Haruka smiled at me and I went around casting augment on everyone. Everything okay?
ありがおおきに。ほな行ってくる。
Let's get out there. My augment boosted everyone's psychokinesis, allowing them to strike down kaiju with rapidly. I can speak. Oh! We defeated all the kaiju in town and then moved to our outer wall of the financial district. A familiar face greeted us as we arrived. Moravia!
ヒューガと雪並みもいますわ。
Hyuga and Yukinami are here too, but Moravia is the best, so who cares? Hearing that, Haruka immediately called out.
ヒューガは私が引き受ける。
I'll take care of Hyuga. I sensed determination in her voice and remembered when we fought Hyuga before. I remember. I don't need the flashback.
それじゃあ、モラ
Then
ビア
I'll
は
get
私がやる。
Moravia. Sina, you
敵
handle
には
Yukinami.
位置ができるセナが。では、あなたとモカは援護をお願いしますわ。
I'll need Mocha as backup. Can do.
任せとき。
Got you. We decided on our strategy and mounted our attacks, carefully closing in.
ちょろちょろと。
All these little attacks here and there. They're so irritating.
それはこっちのセリフなんだけど、逃げ回ってないで一発くらい当ててみなよっと。
That's my line. Why don't you quit running around and actually try to hit me? Like this. Seeing that easily parred Yukinami's kick.
当たり
It'll
ません
take
わ
more than that to hit me.
純粋な力比べなら勝機はないと思うよ。
There's no way you'll win with sheer power
そうとも
alone.
言えないよ。こっちにはブーストもあるし、何より。
You don't know that. We got augment on our side. And besides...
なるほど、目くらましだね。本体はこっちかな。
I see trying to fake me out. I see this is your real attack. Ha!
外れ。こっちだよ。
Wrong. Kaori kicked Miyabi's arm, catching her off guard. It actually
今のはちょっ
hurts.
と痛かったね。
Now it's my turn. You're hurting my favorite person. The fight continued to escalate. Mocha and I desperately tried to keep up, providing support as we took care of the kaiju in the area. We were able to make the fight an even match on our end, but Haruka was having more trouble.
陣営
Blame Dest.
そんなんで俺を燃やせると思ってるのか。それとも今度は力を加減しすぎて失敗したか。
Think that piddly little fire hurt me, or are you just messing up? And her flames weaker than usual, or is Hyuga right and she just made a mistake? But Hyuga didn't look like... Oh, that's right. They lose their power when they fall in love. That means he's falling in the love. Okay, but Haruka didn't look like she just made a miscalculation. She looked like she was in pain. I didn't know why Haruka was having a hard time, but I have to go back to her. Oop, we're on 69. Nice. Alright, flowchart. Where are we? Okay, ooh, we have a bad ending here. Let's see. Let's attack Hyuga. Let's see. Haruka wasn't her usual self, so I decided to fight Hyuga on my own. I called out to her to let her know. I'll deal with Hyuga.
ダメだよ。君は援護に徹してて。
Stay on support. But you look like you're in pain. Don't worry, leave it to me. I left Haruka behind and ran straight to Hyuga.
バカな。こいつが苦戦している俺にお前が叶うわけねえんだよ。
That one had enough trouble. You don't stand a chance. And I managed to dodge all Haruka's shots. I knew I could do this.
遅いな。
Too slow. Huh? Hyuga suddenly closed in on me and I took a blow to the head. I urged myself to get up, but then found myself staring straight down a barrel of a gun. I heard Haruka's voice in the distance,
じゃあ
but
な。
nice knowing you. A gunshot sounded, and for a split second, I felt the impact. After that, my consciousness sunk into darkness. Dun 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 dun. Maybe it is my dog. I still hear barking. Oh, it sounds far away. I could be wrong. It's Ibuki.
戻
I
ってきて
love
くれて
him.
嬉しいよ。
I'm glad too. Alright, we're gonna load this number 69. And not pick the obvious, I'm gonna die. We're gonna attack together with Haruka. I'll back you up, let's do this together.
なら直接攻撃に切り替えよう。
I'll attack directly then. Go for it. I moved next to Haruka and unleashed a series of attacks to keep Hyuga from going on the offense.
まだやる？あんたたちの相手をしながらこっちは害獣も倒しきったけど。
You still want to do this? We've already defeated all your kaiju. The fight dragged on and it didn't seem like either side was close to a win. I have a
限
suspicion.
界なのは君たちの方って気もするけど、こっちも圧倒的に有利ってわけじゃないか。
I have a suspicion that you're the ones reaching your limit, but we don't have an overwhelming advantage
もう
either.
ラビア、いい加減疲れたよ。
Lavia, I'm getting tired.
ち、玉切れだ。
And I'm out of ammo. Our enemies were clearly fatigued as well.
じゃあ、お言葉に甘えて撤退させてもらうよ。
Since you so kindly offered us an out, we'll retreat now.
待ちや。誰も逃がすとは言ってへんで。
You think we're just gonna let you
追
go?
ってこられるわけねえだろ。そっちにはお荷物もいるしな。
As if you could chase us. You're carrying dead weight, same as us. I looked to where Hyuga gestured and saw. Haruka was completely out of breath.
じゃあそういうわけだから。バイバイ。
I guess that's it. Bye bye. They beat a hasty retreat. I confirmed that all three had disappeared behind the outer wall, then hurried to Haruka's side. Haruka, are you alright?
平気っていうかごめん、私のせいだね。
I'm fine, but this is all my fault.
深追いしないのは戦いの鉄則だよ。元よりここは引くべきだった。
We're under orders not to follow them too far. Our best option is to retreat.
戻りましょう。私たちの務めは果たしましたもの。
Let us return. We've already fulfilled our duties.
せやな。
You got that right. I knew just from watching Haruka that she'd used all her strength in that battle. No one blamed Haruka when we returned to the command center. Oh no, no.
ああ、なるほど。わかりました。承知。
Got it. That'll have to do. The commander was speaking to someone on a cell phone when we entered the room, but he immediately hung up upon seeing
お
us.
疲れ様。今回もいい戦いだったね。
Great work. Yep. Stellar fight all around.
最後の方見てなかったやん。
You didn't see the last bit, did you?
それで、今のお電話どなたからでしたの？
Who are you on the
Amari
phone with?
Kandemura
Seems like a
didn't
pretty
happen to
frosty conversation. I'm gonna go check something before I continue because I'm still hearing barking, and if it's my dog, I need to see why. One moment. Okay. It's not my dog. I woke her up just checking on her. All right, who are you on the phone with? Seemed like a pretty frosty conversation to me. The commander hesitated for a moment, but ended up relenting and explained the
第
situation.
3セクターの間宮所長からだよ。
I was speaking to Director Mamiya from Sector 3. Director Mamiya. I gasped and looked towards Haruka, who was visibly tense. She nodded at me. So he was talking to her
実
father.
はこの間の任務の様子と今日の任務の様子を研究エリアでも観測していたんだ。
The research district observed this mission and the previous one too.
この間ってシータの外を調査した時ですわよね。
You mean when we were investigating outside Teta?
うわ、内緒で見てたってことやんか。感じ悪いわ。
So they were spying on us. That's kind of creepy if you ask
黙っ
me.
ていてごめん。君たちの実践データを取るためにできるだけ意識させたくないとの意向だったんだ。
So sorry, I didn't tell you, but they needed to take your data without you being aware. So they decided to keep it a secret. So were they satisfied with what they got?
満足というか、さらに要求してきたんだよね。どうもヒューガに興味があるらしくて。
More like they want more. They're particularly interested in Hyuga.
ヒューガ？どうしてあいつだけ？能力的にはモラビアの方が上だと思うけど。
Why just him? Moravia is clearly more powerful.
もう少し正確に言うよ。ヒューガとハルカの戦いに興味を持ってるんだ。
More specifically, they're interested in the battle between Hyuga and Haruka. I noticed Haruka didn't seem all that surprised despite suddenly becoming the topic of the conversation. Perhaps this is why Ayume's parents contacted him. If so, then Haruka's volunteering to fight Hyuga today might have been because her parents wanted it.
シータの外で戦った時、ハルカはかなり能力を使っていたよね。
Haruka used her powers a lot when you were all fighting
あの
outside
時
Teta.
の陣営の威力が研究者たちの興味を引いたんだ。だからヒューガともう一度戦わせたいと。
The potency of flame dust at that time attracted the interest of the researchers. That's why they want you to fight Hyuga.
今日の戦いじゃ満足。
Wasn't today enough? Haruka interrupted commander. He answered her question, though with some
今
difficulty.
日は1対1というわけじゃなかったからね。
Wasn't a one-on-one fight.
は？まさかと思うけど、ハルカを一人で戦わせる気？殺すつもりなの？
You want Haruka to fight by herself? Are you trying to get her
少
killed?
なくとも僕はそんなつもりはない。そうならないように手は打とうと思
Absolutely
って
not. My
いるよ。
intention is to prevent that. From the way he said that, it sounds like Ayumi's parents have other plans in mind. Can he even go against them? The commander looked troubled, so I knew it would be difficult, but Haruka remained
命
calm.
令ならやる。だけど、うまく能力が出せなくなっているから、あまり期待されても困るけど。
If it's an order, I'll do it, but my powers are weakening, so they better not expect much.
能力が出せない。もしかして今日の陣営は威力を抑えてたわけじゃないのか。
They're getting weaker. So you're saying you didn't purposely hold them back today?
あれで全力。その証拠に、当分変身も解けなさそうだし。
That's right. I was fighting at full strength. I don't think I'll be able to undo my transformation for a while if you want proof. She can't undo her
ど
transformation.
うやらハルカとはもう少し話をする必要がありそうだね。
Seems
他
we
のみ
need
ん
to
なは
chat.
先に帰るように。
Everyone's dismissed. The commander looked more serious than ever, and Haruka's grim expression worried me, but I couldn't just defy orders and stick around. I didn't have much choice but to leave with everyone else. I was still distressed about the whole ordeal after we'd all left the command center. I undid my transformation and returned to the prep room. The sky grew dark as I waited for Haruka. I supposed they were having a long discussion. It's probably almost time for curfew, but I could use my status as a blue member to go back to my dorm after curfew. But even if I didn't have that privilege, I'd still wait for Ayuma. They're back. I heard footsteps approach, and when I saw Ayuma appear from the hidden stairwell.
君、どうして？
You're here, but why? I was waiting for you. You got the whole thing with your parents, and then you said your powers were gone. It was impossible for me not to worry about after hearing all that.
そうだね。
That's how you are. Ayumi smiled as he said that, but something about him seemed sad. It pained me to see him that way. What did you talk about with Mr. Kuramori?
そうだね。君には話せるギリギリのところまで打ち明けるよ。
I'll tell you what I'm allowed. So there are some things you can't say.
それはでももう今更かな。
It might be too late anyways. It may be meaningless to hide it. Then I want you to tell me everything. I can't leave you by yourself when you seem to be in so much pain. Aww. Arigato. He thanked me, but his expression remained dark.
順を追って話すよ。
I'll tell you what happened.
まず任務の前にあった父からの連絡についてなんだけれど、
As you know, my father contacted me before the mission.
司令が言っていたヒューガとの対決のことだった。
He did so to discuss fighting
シ
Hyuga.
ータの外での任務を映した映像を今日になって見たらしくて、 僕
We
が
saw
折
our
り返し
vision
の
got
連絡をした
excited.
の
I
が
called him back after we got
怪獣
word of the
発生
kaiju
後
attack.
もしも任務中にヒューガが現れたら必ず戦うようにと言われたんだ。
He said if Hyuga appeared during the mission, I was to fight him no matter what. Ayumu spoke so matter-of-factly. It wasn't at all how somebody would usually talk about their parents. My heart ached for him, so his dad really doesn't care if Ayumu is put in a dangerous situation.
ヒューガとの戦いも進んで引き受けたんだけれど、結果は君も見ていた通りだよ。
That's why I volunteered to fight Hyuga, but you saw what
どれ
happened
だ
when I
け全
did.
力でやってもあの程度の炎しか出せなかった。
No matter what I tried, I could only shoot a small amount of
人間
fire.
だけじゃない。超能力全体が落ちてきているんだ。
It's not just flame dust either. My powers overall are deteriorating. Do you have any idea why? It looks like both you and the commander knew the reason. I asked if he had been able to figure it out with the commander, but Ayumi just stared at
な
me.
ら分かってる。司令の推測と僕の推測も合致したし。
I
間違
know
いない
why.
だろ
And the commander's guess was the same, so that's
う。
probably
だか
what
ら
it
僕
is.
はもう君と会うべきじゃない。
That's why I can't see you anymore. Come again? I couldn't understand what he meant. We can't see each other.
会う
Why?
べきじゃない。それが正しいんだ。でも、君の姿を見てしまうと、決心が鈍るよ。
I can't see you. It's for the best. My determination wavers when I look at you. Ayumi's smile was filled with sorrow, and I couldn't help but say something when I saw it. Why would you say that? I want to see you, Ayumi, especially now that with all that's going on. But the more I protested, the more miserable he
君は
looked.
今でも普通に戦えているよね。
You can still fight normally, can't you? I don't think anything changed. Does that have something to do with your powers weakening? I was such a sudden change of subject, so I asked him to clarify, but Ayumi just shook his head.
君が普通に戦えているというなら、これは僕だけの問題だよ。
It's my problem if you can fight as usual. You're so
Yeah.
low. I almost stopped breathing when Ayumi said my name, but the joy I felt was immediately dashed by what he said
僕
next.
は君のことが好きだった。
I like you. I even like
こんな
how
局面に来ても
clueless you are. What are you seriously trying to pick a fight after saying you
うん
like me?
そうかもしれない。今にして思えばバカバカしいとも言える喧嘩も、
Maybe
僕にと
so.
っては
Looking back, all those stupid fights are happy memories for
だから
me.
ありがとう。僕にぶつかってきてくれて、
Thank you for being terribly
僕の素を
vexing.
引き出してくれて、感謝している。
I'm grateful you brought out my true self. I could sense that the finality in Ayumi's words as if he were trying to leave everything in the past and excuse me from his life. This is all wrong. Ayumi, why are you talking like this is the end? The commander said it. He wouldn't let you fight alone. Don't say it like you're going out by
いや
yourself.
周りがどう言おうと、僕は一人で ヒューガと戦うことになるよ。
No matter what anyone says, I'll fight
君も
Hyuga
言っていただろう。
one-on-one.
律を人質に取られているようなものだって。
You said it yourself, it's like my parents are holding Ritsu
だから
hostage.
僕は逆らうことができない。そういう風に今までも生きてきてしまったし。
That's why I can't go against
変えられ
them.
ないということが
It's how I've lived my whole life. And I know now I can't do anything to change that.
選択する権利もなかったんだ。できるのは
I have no right to choose. All I can do is give
君を
in.
好きでいることをね。
That includes giving you up. Why? I wanted to say something but couldn't find the words, so I just went to him. He was going to leave alone. I wanted to stop him, so I reached out, but he refused to take my hand. Instead, he took me by the shoulders and pulled me
も
close.
し僕がヒューガとの戦いから戻ることができなかったら、
By some chance, I don't come back from fighting Hyuga, please take care of Ritsu. He sounded agonized as he whispered in my
両親と
ear.
は精一杯取引をするつもりだけれど、万が一僕の代わりにリツがブルームズに入るような時期になったら、
I'm planning to keep my deal with my parents, but if there's a chance Ritsu could end up
その
joining the
時は
Blooms,
支えてやってほしい。
I hope you'll support her.
そうじゃなくても、友人として君がリツのそばにいてくれれば、
If that
とても
doesn't,
心強いよ。
even if that doesn't happen, I'd be reassured knowing that you're by her side as her friend.
せめて友人として
Only I could be your friend too.
それすら今は
I can't even wish for that anymore. He stated all that without waiting for my reply, then let me go. He turned to leave the room. What am I trying to
Come on.
say? Sorry. Ayumi exited the room, leaving me standing there confused. Ayumu likes me. No matter how clueless I could be, I knew he didn't mean just as a friend. And at the same time, I finally understood my feelings for him. I like him too. The pain is in my heart lingered, and I knew it was because I had feelings for him. I lost him right when I realized it. I didn't know the reason why Ayumu said he'd give me up, but I did know that once he decided something, he doesn't easily yield. But he's going to fight Hyuga by himself. I can't just let him go and do that. My feelings for Ayumu weren't going to disappear just because he's pushed me away. I knew it'd be a uphill battle, but I had to do something. I wondered what I could do for Ayumu. I would act the second I had a plan. Dun dun. I was still mulling ideas over when I received word about Haruka much sooner than I anticipated. Is Haruka really out there
一
fighting?
人で行かせるなんて手を打つって言ってなかった？
How could you let her go alone? I thought you said you'd do
わかってる。
something.
だからすぐにみんなを呼んだんだ。今日、はるかに招集をかけたのは、
Why I called you all here. I'm not the one that contacted Haruka.
ですの。
Was it director Mamiya?
ああ、そうだ。君たちを呼んだことはバレていないはずだから、すぐに後を追ってくれないか。
The researchers don't know that I called you. Would you go after
はる
her?
かはシータの外でヒューガを迎え撃つつもりだ。場所はこの辺り。
Haruka is planning to intercept Hyuga outside Teta. The location should be around here. We confirmed the location and we confirmed the location the commander pointed to on the map, then nodded.
研究エリアのすぐ外やな。
It's right outside the research district. We can catch up if we leave right away. Let's hurry. And then we're running. Actually, that's a good point. Let's see where our flowchart says. Are we at the end? We're at a normal ending. I worked real hard and I still got a normal ending. What's our status at? 75 and 66. That's good numbers. Why do these status mean nothing? We found Haruka and Hyuga immediately. Haruka must have cast flame dust several times as they were surrounded by burning flames.
力を使いすぎだよ。はるか。
She's used so much of her powers. Kaori mumbled that quietly as she came to stand next to me, making me all the more worried. I quickly called out to Haruka. Haruka, we're here to help.
みんな
We've all came.
援軍か。
Reinforcements, huh?
あんたの相手はこっちや。
We're gonna take you down.
モカ、攻撃が来ますわよ。
Here comes his attack. Mocha and Sina kept Hyuga busy while Kaori and I ran over to Haruka.
どうして来たの？これじゃ約束が保護にされる。リツを守れなくなる。
What are you doing here? This goes against their conditions. I can't protect Ritsu. What are you even saying? You're a mess right now. You need to be thinking about yourself instead of Rizzy.
この子の言う通りだよ。まずはここを切り抜けないと。もう限界でしょ。
She's right. We have to focus on getting you out of here alive. You're already at your limits.
確かに。もうあまり力は出せないと思う。
I don't have much strength
だ
left.
から君の力を貸して。
I need your help. You want me to use our augment, but if I do that, you'll... Haruka was definitely maxed out. If I used augment now, using flame dust could cause her irreparable harm.
1対1の戦いじゃなくなったけど、せめて自分の手で決着をつけたい。
It's not a one-on-one fight anymore, but I want to finish it
そ
myself.
うしないと、あの人たちを納得させられないから。
They won't be satisfied if I don't. Haruka must be talking about her parents. I knew how Ayumi had lived his life, so I couldn't simply refuse him. I'll cast augment on you. I closed my eyes and touched Haruka. After a brief pause, I could feel augment taking effect.
ありがとう。それじゃあ。
I'll be going now. Okay.
セナ、モカ、引いて。
Sina Mocha, fall back. Kaori shouted to the others as Haruka prepared herself. Sina and Mocha noticed what was going on and began to distance between themselves and Hyuga. At the same time, Haruka thrusted out her hand. Flame dust. Ugh. Her powered flames burst forth, spreading swiftly towards Hyuga. I thought I heard a scream, but Hyuga had quickly disappeared behind the wall of fire.
やりましたの？
Did we get him?
うん。倒せたかどうかはわからないけど、決着はついたでしょ。
I don't know if I defeated him, but I settled the score. Sina came over to us, and Haruka answered her question in a low voice. Haruka! Haruka stumbled just then as I rushed to help her up. She used way too much of her powers. Let's head back. Haruka needs to get some rest.
そうだね。
Bum. Let's sit you down right here. Haruka was completely spent, so I maneuvered her onto a chair in the command center. The commander then came over to speak to
お
us.
疲れ様。今、間宮所長から連絡があったよ。
Nice job. Director Mamiya just
怒
called.
ってた？
Was he mad?
まあね。でも、結果には満足したそうだ。それで、
Was-
はるか、調子はどうかな？
He was, but he was satisfied with the results. So, Haruka, how are you doing? Haruka slowly opened her eyes despite her complete
能
exhaustion.
力は弱まってるけど、まだ使える。でも私は、
My abilities have weakened, but I can still use them. At this rate,
そうか。
I see. What does that mean? I had no clue what they were talking about, but a bad feeling formed in the pit of my stomach when I saw Kaori's reaction. I debated whether to ask Kaori or Haruka more about it, but then the commander came over to me.
こうなったからには、君にははるかのサポートを中心に動いてもらうことにするよ。
Now that things have come to this, I'm going to have you focus your support
はるかの
on
能力が
Haruka.
弱まったとはいえ、間宮所長はまだ研究を続ける意向だ。そのためには、君のブーストが必要になる。
Director Mamiya intends to continue his research through Haruka's powers. Though Haruka's powers have diminished, we're going to need your augment
だか
ability.
ら、はるかのサポートをしてほしい。ただし、友達として。こ
So
の
I'm
意味が
asking to support her,
わか
but
るね？
only as a friend. Do you understand? Only as a friend? As I pondered what he meant, Haruka
こ
spoke
の
up.
子には、私から全部説明させて。
Let me explain to her what's happening. I still didn't understand what she meant, but the commander didn't refuse her suggestion and simply nodded without another word. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun. A few days after Haruka's fight with Hyuga, I was waiting to meet up with Rizzy for the first time in a while. Rizzy and I, one of my friends. I used that time as I waited to think over the events of that day. After that, Haruka told me everything. We went to the prep room, the chem lab, to speak more privately. Haruka looked me directly in the
僕の
eyes.
今の状態だけど、超能力が弱っている状態で力を使いすぎたせいで、女性化が解けなくなったんだ。
About my condition. Because I use too much of my power in my weakened state, I can't get out of my female
多
form.
分もう、マミや歩夢に戻ることはないだろ
I don't think I'll ever be able to transform back into Ayumu. I was at the complete loss for words when I found out the price Haruka paid during the
う。この
battle.
結果に後悔はないよ。両親はまだ僕に興味があるみたいだから、律のことも当分守っていける。
I have no regrets. My parents still seem to be interested in me, so I can still protect Ritsu.
だからこそ、僕はこれ以上超能力を失うわけにはいかないんだ。
That's exactly why I can't allow my powers to deteriorate any further.
君にはこれからもそばにいてもらうことになるけど、指令の言ったように、友達としてそばにいることにするよ。
You'll be with me from now on, but just as a friend, like the commander
君に
said.
恋をしたままじゃ、ブルームズとして任務につけないからね。
I can't do Bloom's missions if I still have feelings for you. Haruka gave me a sad smile, reminding me of what the commander had told me before. The commander did tell us that we couldn't fall in love. Ugh. Because then we wouldn't be able to use our powers anymore. After hearing Haruka's explanation, everything finally fell into place. Ayumi said he liked me, but there was a reason why he couldn't be with me. And then the commander told me to support him, but only as a friend. That meant the commander was aware of not only Ayumi's feelings, but also mine. If he's going to stay as Haruka, then Ayumi's got no other option but to continue with the Blooms. And in that case, I can't be the reason all of his powers disappeared. Though he rejected me now, I hope I could still tell Ayumi how I felt someday. I wanted to tell him I liked him too, but I had to bury those feelings right now. If I truly cared about Ayumi. Ayumu!
君がこうやって待ってる姿を見るのは久しぶりだね。
It's been a while since you've waited for me like this. Oh my god. I heard a voice and turned around to see Haruka and Rizzy.
なんだか変な感じですね。
Sure feels strange. It's no different than how we used to be. It's just like when we all went out last time. I acted as cheerful as I could. Haruka agreed with me.
そうだね。これからは姉としてになるけど、変わらず律のそばにいるよ。
I might be your older sister now, but I'll always be with you, Ritsu. And I'm here for you too. It's gonna be us three girls from now on. Right? Did my smile seem genuine enough? Was I faking it now? But I wondered if I'd ever be able to really smile about all this. Ayumi's still alive. Ayumi's still alive and he's by our side. That should make us happy without a doubt. But whenever I let my guard down, the emotions buried deep inside threaten to overflow. From now on, I'm pretending not to notice them, at least until the day when I can truly smile again. Now let's get going.
行こう。
Let's go. I started walking and Rizzy and Haruka followed behind. The three of us chatted together and laughed, reminding me of the previous time we were out. Today should be just as fun as that day was. I looked at the two of them beside me and felt like I could believe in a better future. Oh dear. This is my second. Oh, I got a villain opened. I didn't read it.
レポート
Okay. Okay, so we got the normal ending, which is wild. So we still need to get these two. Okay. Well, as this game has proven to me, just making people happy doesn't work. So let's see. Okay. Oh goodness. Ayumu. Alright, let's see. It's the guide I've been using. Who'll never know? Alright. You should be on the justice route. There are only 3 choices you didn't make. Okay. Alright, let's see what choices I have to change in order to get the happy ending. The one I missed.
ちゃんとどこから進める
And let's see how many of them are ones I actually made, because it gets weird sometimes. Alright. Same. Alright, let's see. Nod. Oh, my bad. You don't have to be mean. So far, one was different. Alright. Cast it on everyone. Oh, apparently I wasn't supposed to let go. I let go because it seemed polite. See, I thought he'd leave it. He'd leave if I let go, so I continue to hold his arm. I'm not quite done yet. Can I have just a little more time with
だった
you?
ら初めからそう言えばいいだろう君は力に訴えないと自分の意見
Then
を
you
言
should
え
have
な
said
いの
as
か
much from the beginning. Or are you incapable of saying what's on your mind unless you're forcing others to listen? You're the one to talk. Do you remember what you did to me? My voice grew louder as for what happened when he was Haruka. He gripped tightened his arm. Fine, I'll listen so you can let go of my arm. Alright. There we go. Support Haruka. Gotta...
了解
Haruka agreed to my suggestion and I cast Augment on her. Then we rushed forward. The battle continued. Okay, this is...
律の名前を出せば僕が言う
Pressed
ことを
against a
聞くとで
wall.
も思っている
That's
の
not
か
what I meant. That's not... Oh, no, that's right. That's not what I meant. Wait, is that right? That's not sure what I meant. Someone added a word on there. Okay, that's... Alright, so let's see. Support, attack Hyuga. Okay, I know that wasn't the choice I picked because I thought that was a bad choice and had redone that scene. So I know that wasn't the final choice I picked. So that's 2 things different so far. Don't push yourself. I remember saying that. Alright, don't be so willing to die, which again, you want to make it about him and not about his sister because he needs to realize he's a person. I'm glad to know the real you. Was it really just 2 choices? Was I 2 choices away from getting the good ending here? Stay there. So far, it's only 2 choices off, which I think is weird.
了解
Attack the kaiju. That's okay, 3 choices. I ran ahead. Rawr! The kaiju staggered, and before it could resolve, I went in for a second strike. You're done for! My attack's knocked the kaiju over, putting it out of commission. Haruka, however, remained alert and scanned our surroundings.
あっち行く
That way, on it! Okay. Alright. Attack the kaiju. Oh, oops, just kidding. Attack together. Alright, let's see. Was that it for my choices? Okay, I continue to mull over the ideas after returning to my dorm. In any event, I have to stop Haruka from going after Hyuga alone, and that's that. Thinking about things made me realize I wasn't the only one wanting to stop this. I should go meet with him tomorrow. I made my way to Class 2C's room the next day during break. There he is. Tokyo, do you have a minute? There's something I need to talk to you about.
俺になら場所を変えよ
Let's go somewhere more private. I think that'd be the best. How about the chem lab prep
ういい
room?
よ
Let go. Certainly couldn't talk about what was going on with his classmates right there, so we quietly moved to the prep room.
話って歩むのこと
I asked him this about Ayumu. Tokyo got straight to the point, so I did the same. Yes, I need to ask you about him, or really about Haruka. Ayumu told me that you're Kaori, so I wanted your advice about the Bloom's
俺
leader.
も歩むから聞いてるあんたには俺たちの正体を明かしたんだって
He mentioned that he told you about our identities, not Sina or Mocha's, though. But that's why you're the only one I can talk to. You're also his best friend, so even if I knew who the others were, I would have come to you first regardless. I don't want Haruka to fight Hyuga alone, but I can't do anything about it by myself. And it's not just because of our researchers. Ayumu's dead set on doing it.
歩むはそういうやつだよどうせ律のためにやるしかないと思い込んでるんでしょ
That's how it is. He probably thinks he has to because Ritsu's... Oh goodness. He probably thinks he has to. He probably thinks he has to because of Ritsu. I can do this. I can read words.
あいつって自分で思ってるより周りのことが見えてないんだ
He can be more oblivious than he
たまに
thinks.
世界には自分と親と律しかいないみたいな顔するから
Sometimes it's like he thinks the whole world consists of his parents, Ritsu, and himself. It's irritating. Tokyo's expression was pretty similar to mine. I was happy to hear we were on the same page. I know what you mean, but I was trying to help him. But he keeps wanting to handle things by himself.
あんたがそんな風に言うなんて意外前は喧嘩してなかったっけ
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I thought you two were always fighting. We were, but a bunch of stuff happened, and we got pretty close. Then he just pushed me away again. I had to allude to how Ayumu and I felt about each other to explain what's been going on. It felt so awkward to say it out loud, which showed in the hesitation when I spoke. Tokyo's eyes sparkled with
なる
intensity.
ほど
I see. What's that supposed to mean? I broke out in a nervous sweat, convinced he had seen right through me and figured out what happened yesterday, but Tokyo paid me no
と
mind.
にかく俺もはるかを一人で戦わせる気なんてなかったから
I didn't plan for
協力者
Haruka
が現れてくれたのは助かるよ
I didn't plan for Haruka to go alone either, so I'm glad you're willing to
昨
help.
日のはるかはうまく能力が出せてなかった本人も認めてたし多分原因にも気がついてるんだろうけど
Haruka couldn't use her full powers. She acknowledged it, so I'm guessing she knows the
あ
reason
んた
why.
は歩むに何か言われたりしなかった
Did Ayumu say anything to you? Like
例えば好きだとか
that he likes you? Being questioned so directly made it more nervous than ever, but Tokyo just continued
うー
talking.
ん今の反応が答えだねとなると歩むの能力が落ちた理由は分かったけど
The reaction
あんたはどう
confirms
な
it.
の
I understand why
Ayumu
Yumu's
のことが好
powers
き
are weakening. But what about you? Do you like him too? Me? How did this conversation get here? Despite my nerves, I realized there was no point in hiding it. Yeah, I like him too. But Ayumu said he couldn't see me anymore, so I don't know if I can even tell
で
him.
もあんたは能力の強さも何か不調が出てるわけでもないよね
But your powers don't seem to be affected or anything like that. Now that you mention it, I remembered Ayumi asking me the same thing. I
あん
nodded.
たが歩むを好きになったのはいつ昨日の任務の後ってことはないでしょ
You're asking way too invasive questions, Tokyo. When did you fall for Ayumu? It couldn't have been after yesterday's mission. I didn't know what he was driving at, but I had a feeling the answer was important, so I thought about it carefully. I only realized it after the mission yesterday, but I think I fell for him much earlier. At the very least, I'd felt this way since I thought to give him that ring.
それならおかしいねでも思えばあんたは 最初からおかしかったかも。
That's strange. But then again, you've been odd from the start. Tokyo fell into a deep thought for a while, then he started riffling through the pockets of his uniform. What are you doing?
ちょっとあんたにかけてみようと思って。もしかしたら
I think
あ
I'm
んた
gonna
な
bet
ら
on
歩
you.
夢を助けることができるかもしれない。
You might be able to save Ayumu. There's something we can do? I couldn't hold back my excitement. Tokyo
確
nodded.
証はないけどね。だから手を出して。
I'm not sure it'll work though. Hold out your hand. My hand? Is he gonna take my blood? Oh, I was joking. I was joking and that popped up. My brow furrowed with skepticism as Tokyo took a razor and test tube from his pocket. What's that
これ
for?
で指先を切って。で、ここに血を一滴ちょうだい。
I need to cut your finger and give me a drop of your blood.
言った
Why?
でしょ。歩夢を助けるためだよ。ちょっと傷をつ
It's
け
to
るだけ
save
でいいから。
Ayumi. Just a little nick will suffice. Come on. Wait a second. Why didn't he have this thought with himself? He lost his powers. Why didn't he take my blood then? Okay, I taken aback by his rather abrupt request, but I'll do it if it helps Ayumi. This good? I cut my fingertips slightly and squeezed a drop of blood onto the test tube.
ありがとう。ほら、手当てするよ。
Here, let me get that. In one swift movement, Tokyo cleaned my cut and put a bandage on my
俺は
finger.
これを使って調べ物をしておくよ。俺の考えが正しければ、歩夢の能力を一時的にでも回復させられるかも。
I'm gonna do some research. If my theory is correct, Ayumi might be able to recover some of his
それが
powers.
できなくても、きっと最悪の事態は避けられると思うよ。
And even if we can't do that, we can avoid the worst case scenario. You mean if Ayumu loses to Hyuga?
それもあるけど、歩夢が今の状態で超能力を使い続けると、ちょっと厄介なことになるんだ。
That's right. Basically, if Ayumu continues to use his powers and his current state so can battle happen, what do you mean? Are there other potential side effects aside from transforming into a woman?
まあ、とにかくその問題がある限り、歩夢は全力を出せない。
Basically, as long as he's having these issues, Ayumu can't use his full
実
power.
は最近、歩夢からちょっとヤバそうだって聞いてはいたんだ。今以上に力を使ったらどうなるかって考えると、
He told me that things have been especially bad lately, considering what may happen if he tries to use more of his powers.
歩夢は力を出し切ることを躊躇するかも。でもそんなことをしたら、ヒューガには勝てない。
He might hesitate to go all out, but if he doesn't, he won't be able to win against Hyuga. In other words, helping Ayumu means helping him recover his powers even
そうだ
temporarily.
よ。でも、あんたの血があれば、全部解決するかもしれない。
Correct, and your blood might be what we need, so I'm going to put my
それから、
theory to
セナ
test.
とモカにも声をかけておくよ。二人にもある程度事情を知ってもらった上で協力してもらった方がいいからね。
I'll also tell Sina and Mocha what's going on. It's better they know so we can get their assistance too. But do you just need my blood? Is there anything
あん
else
た
I
は
can
歩
do?
夢を説得しておいてほしい。もしヒューガと戦えって命令が来ても、一人で行くなって。
I need you to convince Ayumu not to fight Hyuga alone, even if it's
行かなきゃい
ordered
けなくなっ
to.
たとしても、必ずその前に、俺かあんたに連絡するように言ってきて。
If he has to go, make sure he contacts either you or me beforehand. Tokyo gave me only one task, but I felt like it'd be the most difficult one. Ayumu has no intention of seeing me, so even if I go to see him, it might not work. I conveyed my concerns to Tokyo, but he
あいつが
insisted.
そう言ったとしても、これはあんたの役目だよ。
Doesn't matter if he said that, you're the best person for the job.
任せ
So
た。
I'm counting on you.
これはあいつの親友である。
I'm asking you as his best friend. Once Tokyo said that, I knew I had to do it. I've fought with Ayumu so much already. One measly rejection shouldn't make me back down. I'm doing this to save him. Alright, leave Ayumu to me. Oh, I love it. It's so great. Ooh. Later after school, I waited for someone I had contacted earlier. Am I late? No, you aren't. I just got here too. Rizzy smiled at me, though she was slightly out of breath. Thank you for coming. I know this all came out of nowhere, so you're probably surprised. Not at all. I suspected my brother was doing something dangerous. And he was doing it for me because of something involving my parents. I wasn't surprised at all when you contacted me. I'm actually glad I can do something for him. I knew you wanted to help your brother. I figured that I'd need Rizzy's help to stop Ayumu, so I told her a good deal of what was going on. I couldn't tell her about the blooms, but I did say Ayumu's doing something because their parents ordered him to. And that it's dangerous and shouldn't be done alone. I think she knows I didn't tell her everything, but Rizzy still believes me. Knowing she was also concerned about Ayumu motivated me even more. Tokyo, myself, and some other friends are going to help Ayumu, so I want you to assist me in persuading him. I don't want him to just bottle everything in. He needs to realize he can rely on other people around him. You can count on me. It struck me that Rizzy sounded really dependable just then. She doesn't need protecting anymore. I hope Ayumu can realize that. She's like, I got this. I like it. Hello, Ayumu. Ah, you're here. Why did you want to meet so suddenly? I'm sitting on a pillow. I'm just trying to move it now. It hurts. Alright. Why'd you want to meet so suddenly? Is something wrong? I don't think I can reach. I did it. It's fine. I tried to ask you about it, but you just kept saying you'd tell me once you got here. That's not like you. Sorry, that was my fault. I stepped into the room, interrupting their conversation. Ayumi started with surprise, stared. Why are you here? I thought I told you I wasn't going to see you anymore. Even so, you can't stop me from coming to you. Never said I couldn't see you after all. That's a mere technicality. I don't care. Besides, right now, Rizzy wants to speak with you. Just hear her out. So you do need something, Ritsu? I'm here on my own accord. I know that you're striking some sort of deal with our parents to protect me. Did you tell her? Ayumi turned back to me in surprise, and I shook my head. No, Rizzy's known for a long time, but she didn't say anything about it. You underestimate me, Ayumu. I can find out what you're up to pretty easily if I want. I know that you're going to the research district a lot, and that you're helping our parents with their research. And I found out that what you're doing has been extremely unsafe. I also know you did all to protect me, but I want you to stop. I've been doing this my whole life, and you want me to stop? Ayumi, I know you think that I gave your life meaning.
お兄様の人生がなくなってしまう。
But living like that will make you lose sight of your own
僕の
life.
人生なんてそんなものよりリツが幸せに生きてくれれば僕は十分なんだ。
I don't care about it so long as you're happy, Ritsu.
それじゃダメなんです。
That's not good enough. When she snapped back in a way she never had before, Ayumu and I were equally shocked by her boldness.
私だけが守られているなんて、そんなのは幸せでも何でもありません。
I'm not happy being
私
protected.
はずっと
I
それを
wanted to
伝
tell
え
you
た
that,
かった。
but
けれど、お兄様の気持ちを無駄にしたくなくて言えずにいたんです。
I couldn't because I didn't want it to feel like your efforts were going to waste.
でも今は私と同じようにお兄様のことを案じてくれる人が現れたから。
But now that I know
私も
other
勇気
people
が持
are
てました
just as worried about you, that gave me the courage I needed. Rizzy glanced over at me and I nodded
私
encouragingly.
はお兄様に守ってもらわなくても大丈夫です。
I don't need you to protect me anymore, Ayumu.
お兄様が思っているよりもずっと強い人間だから。
I love this face. I'm much stronger than you think.
それこそお兄様に頼っていただけるくらい、これからもっともっとより強くなります。
I'm gonna become so strong that you'll depend on
だ
me.
から今度はお兄様がお兄様自身を大切にしてほしいんです。
That's why I want you to take care of
リ
yourself.
ツ
Ritsu. Ayumi didn't bother hiding how stunned he was by Rizzy's sudden display of strength. I decided it was time I said my part too. Ayumu, if you have any desire to take care of yourself, I want you to reach out to us.
手を
Reach out? You're still trying to bottle everything up inside, but if you reach out to those around you, you'll find there are plenty of people willing to help Rizzy, Tokyo, and
で
me.
も僕は君のそばにいるわけにはいかないんだ。君のそばにいたら能力が落ちる。
I can't let you help. Being close to you will weaken my powers.
戦うことができない。
I won't be able to fight like this. Well, about that, Tokyo said he's trying to figure something out that will with your powers so they don't get weaker. Ayumi's eyes widened when I told him that.
いくら時をでもそんなことができるとは思えないよ。
I don't think that's possible, even for Tokyo. What is he gonna do? Ayumi clearly had his doubts. And I couldn't tell him anything definitive. I don't really know anything about his methods, and Tokyo said he wasn't sure it would work. But I believe Tokyo would do everything in his powers for his best friend. I don't know how it'll work. But he has my blood.
君の血
Your tea? Your blood? Yes. Honestly, I can't imagine what he's going to use it for. But my blood could potentially solve your problem. It might help you recover your powers.
問題を解決するって
Are you sure about that? I can't say for certain. But I believe in Tokyo.
僕だって時代のことを信じたい。
I want to
時代
believe him.
が
I
いくら
do.
頑張ってくれたとしてもそんなうまい話があるわけないって思ってしまうんだ。
I'm having a hard time believing he could pull a solution out of thin air. There were people trying to help Ayumu. That was an undeniable fact, and one I felt I should point out to him. It's not
うわ
impossible.
都合のいい夢じゃないのかな。僕のために誰かが動いてくれるなんてそんなことは
It
今までな
feels
か
like
っ
a
た。
fantasy. Besides, it's not like people have gone out of their way for me in the past. After a moment, Ayumu seemed to relax and open up a bit
Yeah.
more.
あったのかもしれない。僕が見ようとしていなかっただけで。
I suppose someone might have, and I refuse to
思
acknowledge
えば
it.
君はずっと僕に忠告してくれていたね。
Looking back, that's what you were trying to tell
僕
me,
が
right?
人からの行為を無下にしているって、そういうのは良くないと。ずっ
You
と
said I
怒
was
ってい
rejecting
た。
people's kindness, and you got mad at me and said it wasn't a good thing to do. Ayumu saying that reminded me of all the fights we'd had, and I couldn't help but laugh. So much has happened between us. Don't you think we can trust each other a little bit more?
少しどころじゃない。
More than a bit, Ayumu then quietly reached his hand out to
す
me.
ごく信頼している。君は僕がどれだけ拒絶しても 会いに来てくれた。
I absolutely trust you. You came to help me even though I tried to
見捨
push
て
you
ないでい
away.
てくれたんだ。
Didn't give up on
Baka.
me. I surrender.
僕ももう観
I'll
念する
believe in
よ。
you and the people you believe in too. Ayumi outstretched his hand, still wore the ring I'd given him. He didn't take it off. He kept it on even after saying he'd never see me again. That told me all I needed to know about his feelings, and I felt a swell of emotion in my chest. I don't agree. You gave him that ring to remind him of his sister because you didn't want it to be the charm that transformed him. That's unrelated.
もしかして僕の幸運は
Maybe my happiness is yours. Ayumi whispered that to himself while looking at the ring. I hope so. I reached out and grasped Ayumi's hand tightly. All the while, Rizzy looked out, grinning from ear to ear. That's gross. That's gross. Ew. All right. A few days later.
準備はできてるかい？
Are you ready, Haruka?
いつでも行ける。
I can go at any
了解。
time.
事前の調べ通りにヒューガがシータに向かっていると連絡が入ったよ。
According to our recon team, Hyuga is heading towards Teta.
できればシータの外で戦ってほしい。派手な戦闘になるだろうからね。
If possible, I want you to fight outside Teta. It's likely going to be a fierce
能力
battle.
の低下については心配だけれど、今は戦いに集中して。
I am worried about your powers, but you have to focus right now.
じゃあもう行くからあとはよろしく。
I'll hold out and leave the rest to you.
こっちのことは任せて。
Got your back.
来たね。はるかはもう向かったよ。急いで。
He's here. Haruka is already deployed. Now hurry. Talking to me?
一人で来たのか。舐められたもんだな。
All by your lonesome. You sure like to
一
underestimate
人で十
me.
分だと思ったから一人で来ただけ。ご託はいいからさっさと攻撃したら。
I'm alone because I can take you myself. Enough chatter.
なるほど。よほど死に急ぎたいと見える。
I see you want to go straight to dying.
なら、お望み通りやってやるよ。俺を舐めたこと、あの世で後悔するんだな。
I'll give you what you want. You'll regret underestimating me in hell. Ah!
そんな蹴りが当たるかよ。
We actually thought that kick would land.
おらおらおら。
Oh, gah.
避けてばかりか。あの炎はどうした。
It's dodging all I can do about those flames of yours,
攻
Haruka.
撃してこねえなら、どんどん行くぜ。
If you won't attack, I'll just keep going for you. Flame dust.
なんだその弱っちい炎は。
What was that measly fire? Oh, I see.
なるほどな。この間も手加減してたってわけじゃなくて。
I get it now. You weren't going easy on me the other day. Your powers are
そ
going.
んなんで俺を倒そうなんざ。お前、本当に舐めてやがるな。
You really thought you could beat me with that? Ha! You underestimate me.
もういい。死にやがれ。
Time to meet your maker. Hold it right there. Yeah. Right at the last moment, I launched some debris at Hyuga with my psychokinesis injuring him. It wasn't a very powerful hit, but he staggered because he hadn't seen me. He had been too focused on Haruka.
君はこんな前線に来たらダメだ。後ろから援護するって話だったよね。
You're not supposed to come out this far. You promised to stay back and provide support. Kaori told me to come to you because the remedy won't make it in time. I relayed what Kaori told me, and then we headed.
はるか、
Hurt her
その子の指に
hairiness.
傷があるから、それを舐めて。
Haruka, she's got a cut on her finger. Lick it!
傷を舐めろって。
Lick her wound? There's no time to explain, but suffice to say, if you do it, you'll be able to use flame dust again. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Hyuga starting to recover, so I held up my finger. Haruka noticed him and nodded at me. Fine, alright. Is that all I need to do? I think you should have gotten your powers back temporarily. Try it out.
その前に君の力も貸してくれないかな。ここまで来たら。
When you cast augment on me, I want to go at my full power. I focused all my attention to help Haruka. The fight was a turning point for Ayumu. With that at the forefront of my mind, I grasped Haruka's hand and wished with all my heart that we would win. It's done.
じゃあ
Here goes. Flame dust. Haruka thrusted out her hand right as Hyuga pulled the trigger on his gun. Haruka released a tremendous scorching flame that swallowed Hyuga's bullet before it reached us.
の俺がてめえらみてえな人形にやられてそれか
Believe I've been beaten by mere puppets like you. After vowing the bullet, the flames flew straight towards Hyuga, engulfing him in as he attempted to retreat. Did we? This is a good ending? We killed Hyuga? I don't feel good about that. Hyuga's screams echoed from behind the wall of flames, but the loud crackling of the fire soon... Did we do it? I think so. Are you okay? Haruka staggered, so I rushed to prop her up. She breathed heavily in my
ちょ
arms.
っと戦力を出しすぎたかも
I think I used too much of my powers. You should rest. But how are you feeling? Tokyo never told me what the problem was besides your powers weakening.
もしかしたらやばいかも君の血で全部解決するようなことを言ってなかったっけ
I might be in bad shape. Didn't he say I could use your blood? Do you think you need more? Maybe you should take some again. But I tried to hold my hand up, but I couldn't really do it because I was holding Haruka's up. I fidgeted a bit before Haruka gave me an exasperated sigh.
つまり君の中にあるものを取り込めばいいんだよねだったらこうする
Not the same. Not the same. Your blood meaning I need something that comes from me. How about this? Haruka reached her hand up to me. Huh? She wrapped her head around my head and pulled me closer, and then... Aw, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the girls to kiss. It's not the same. It was so sudden I barely knew what happened. But when Ayumi pulled back and I saw the impressed grin on his face, I finally understood what was going on.
こっちの方が
It's faster this way. Is it? I don't think so. What? Was that a kiss? Are you detransformed?
君の血の代わりになるものなら何でもよかったんだ
Need
け
a
ど
substitute for your blood. Anything would suffice. That's a terrible thing to say. I pouted at him, but that just made Ayumi laugh.
ごめん何でもよかったっていうのは嘘だよ
You sound like my
君のそういう
ex.
顔が見たくて言ったんだ
I only said that because I wanted to see see you make that
キス
face.
はしたかったからした
I still like you. That's not fair. First I'm parable,
ひどい
now
の
I'm
次は
unfair.
ずるいか僕はつくづく君を怒らせるたちみたい
Seems
だ
I'm
ね
good at vexing you.
口喧嘩ができることも嬉しいよ君がそばにいてくれる
I'm glad to even be
これ
arguing
ほど
with me.
幸せだなんて
You're here with me. I had no idea how happy that would make me feel.
気になってた問題ももう大丈夫そうだしね君のおかげだよ
The problem that I seem to be worried about seems resolved. Anything to you. After that, Yumi finished speaking. I heard someone nearby clearing his
あ
throat.
のさ邪魔したくはないんだけど変身が解けたなら早くシータに入らないと外気でやられちゃうよ
I don't want to interrupt, but if you're not transformed anymore, you better head inside Teda before the air gets to you. I completely forgotten that Kaori was with us. All right, Sina and Mocha have something for you.
これやろ防護服
Protective suit delivery. I didn't notice Sina and Mocha had also came over and were now handing Ayumi a protective suit. The suit would ensure the outside air couldn't harm him since he was in his regular
早く
form.
来てくださいなシータはすぐそこですけれど移動するのに多少でも時間はかかりますし
Put it on quickly. Tetsu's right over there, but it still take a little time to get
それ
back.
でそのお二人はそういう関係なんですね
And what kind of relationship do you two have exactly? Relationship? Wait, now that I think about it, I never told Ayumu how I felt about him. As my thoughts crashed into one another, Ayumu took the protective suit and put off answering Sina for the time
そういう
being.
のはまた後で今は帰ろう
We'll talk about it later. For now, let's just get back.
そうですわよね。
Yeah, quite. Sina didn't pursue the matter further, so I tried to focus on something else. Once things calmed down, I'll go and talk to Ayumi again. There were so many things to discuss, like what Ayumi was going to do and what that would mean for a relationship. Would it? Wild.
というわけで
Anyways,
間宮君には引き続きアドバイザーとしてブルームズに残ってもらうことになったから
Ayumi's gonna stay with the Blooms as an advisor. Hello again.
なあ、今日はうちらも変身しなくてもよかったんとちゃうん？
Did we really have to transform for the day?
それは規則ですから仕方ありませんわよ。
That's the real Mocha, nothing to be done about
別
it.
に私はどっちでもいいけど。
I don't mind either way. I'd say it, feeling you'd say that. A few days after the battle, the commander and Ayumi summoned us to the command center. Ayumi remained in his regular form. Everyone else transformed like usual. The Bloom members, the commander, and Ro were all present, so it felt strange for Ayumu to be this way. He hadn't come to school, so I hadn't seen him in a while. But I'm worried I'm getting too loud. I'm gonna edit this down just a little. Does that work? Okay. I was relieved to see he was doing just fine, but I was just as surprised as everyone else that he appeared before us as himself instead of Haruka.
結局超能力は消えてしまったんですの。
Did your powers vanish in the end?
あの後いろいろと検査も受けたんだけど
I've took a variety of tests, it seems that way. So we won't see Haruka
な
anymore.
んや、そんな風に言われると寂しい気もするな。
It's kind of sad when you put it like
別に
that.
姿が違うだけで僕は変わっていないよ
I may look different, but I'm still the same
そ
person.
れにはるかじゃなくて間宮歩としてここにいることで今まで
Being
よ
here
り
as
も
myself may being a bigger help to you all. Ayumi went on to explain this turn of
あの
events.
戦いの前から僕の能力は弱くなっていたそれなのに無理やり力を使うようなことをしたから限界を超えてしまったんだ
My powers were already going before the fight, and because I forced myself to use them, I went past my limit.
本当だったら死んでしまってもおかしくなかったかもしれないでも
That's the bad
そうは
ending.
ならなかった
There was a real possibility that I could have died, but I
彼
didn't.
女のおかげで
Thanks to her, everyone turned and looked at me, and I felt a blush spring to my cheeks.
あの時何があったんですの？オカと私が着いた時にはもう決着がつこうとしたところでしたわ。
What happened then? By the time Mocha and I arrived, it seemed everything was over.
せや、今までで一番でっかい炎の壁がバーッと広がっていったとこしか見てへんのや。
We just saw the ginormous wallflower, and that was about
そ
it.
の子のおかげってことは、ブースト以外に何かやったってことな？
You said it was thanks to her she did something besides cast augment on you? About that, I paused, wondering how much I should say, but Ayumu took over
それ
for me.
は
That's a secret.
はあ、ここまで来てそんなのひどいんちゃう？
How can you not tell us after
そ
that?
うですわよ。
She's absolutely right.
説明してもいいんだけどそうなるとこの子の遺伝子に関する話とか難しい計算式とかも含めて説明することになる
I could explain it, but then I'd have to talk about her genetics and get into some complex mathematical
結
formulas.
構長くなるよそうだな2時間3時間で終わればいいけど
Let me see. I think it'd take about 2 to 3 days. Do you say days or hours? Hours. Seen it and Mocha froze.
めんどくさいっちゅうことは分かったわ。
Okay, that sounds like a pain.
簡単に言うと、この子がちょっと得意体質だってこと。で、それを利用して歩を助けたんだ。
But it's simple. She has a special trait. We're able to use it to our advantage and help Ayumu. Hiyori concluded with that, and Sina and Mocha nodded as they understood.
わかりましたわ。うまくいった理由については、もう聞かないでおきます。
Alright, I shall not ask any more details on how it works out of the way it did.
その代わり、私たちの力になるって言った言葉は、
In exchange, you have to keep your word about
も
helping
ちろんだよ
us.
僕はブルームズもこのままにはしておかない
I don't intend to leave things as they are with the
僕だけじゃなく
blooms. It's my hope that we'll eventually
いずれは
lose your powers
みん
too
な
and
も
we can
超
all
能
live
力
a
が出
normal
直し
life.
てそのために研究者たちと君たちの架け橋になる君たちの能力を彼らのいいように利用させたりはしないよ
To achieve that, I'll act as a bridge between you and the researchers. I won't let them take advantage of your powers for their own
ク
ends.
ールなはるかからそんな言葉が出るなんてうち泣きそうやわ
Hearing Haruka say stuff like that makes me feel all warm and
本当です
fuzzy.
わあなたは変わったんですのね
Agreed, you've changed for the better, of course.
一人じゃ無理だったけどねそばにいてくれる人がい
I
たか
wasn't
ら
able to do it alone. I
変わ
had
れた
support.
みんなにも感謝してる
I'm grateful for you. Thanks for
ヒュー
coming
ガ
to
との
my
戦い
aid.
に駆けつけ自分は一人じゃないと思わせてくれて
You made me realize I wasn't alone. We all beamed in response, knowing that our team had become stronger
僕
than
の
ever.
話はこれで終わりなんだけど
Well, that's all I wanted to
こ
say.
の後少し
Do you have a moment? Sure. It's been a while since we had seen each other, so there was a lot I wanted to talk
それじゃ
about.
外に出よう
I'd like some fresh air. So nice out, I shouted excitedly once we were outside and Ayumi grinned.
それに人もまばらだから話をするにはちょうどいいな
There's not a lot of people around. It's a good time to talk, so why all the secrecy? Though after I said that, I realized we obviously couldn't talk about what happened with Haruka and Ayumi in public. But then Ayumu said something I wasn't expecting at all.
君のご両親のことを聞きたいんだ
I wanted to ask about your parents. Mine, not yours?
そうだよたか亡くなっているんだったよね
If memory serves, they passed away a while ago. They died when I was very young. I don't even remember what they looked
名
like.
前はもしかして研究エリアにいたりなんてことはないかな
Were their names? They possibly work in the research district? Wait, I suppose they might not have. When he asked me their names, I was surprised to realize that I actually don't know. I only thought of them as mom and dad now that I think about it. I never asked Uncle Yashima about them
知
even
らないっ
once.
て顔だね
I'm guessing you don't know. I'm sorry. I think they were researchers, but I don't know if they worked in the research district. My guardian never told me their names either, but why are you interested in my parents? Ayumi looked troubled when I asked and passed for a
いや
moment.
大したことじゃないんだただ君の得意体質の理由
A
は
big deal. Not even Tokyo
結
understands the
局
special
君
trait
のル
you
ーツを
have.
知ればその謎も解明できるかもと思っただけだよ
I thought maybe you'd be able to unravel the mystery if we looked into your
でも君が知らないなら無理に知ろうとしない方がいいのかも
Who are your parents? But if you don't know, it's probably best we leave it alone. It's possible Uncle Yashima would tell me if I asked. Perhaps he meant to, but never got around to it. But for some reason, I agree with Ayumu and thought it would be better to leave things be. I think I'll probably find out at some point, but I don't think I need to know right now. So what's all this about my trait? Tokyo suggested that my blood might work for you, but he never did tell me what made him think it.
その前に僕の身に起こっていたことについて
Before
話して
then,
も
let
い
me
いかな
explain what's been going on with me. Sure. A silent digression, but it really was the topic at
まず
hand.
時代が言っていた僕の問題だけれど能力を使いすぎると女性化が解けなくなるというものだったんだ
So my problem, as Tokyo mentioned, was that if I used too much of my powers, I wouldn't have been able to change back to my regular form. What? You mean you would have stayed as Haruka permanently? That's right. In previous missions, if I used my powers too much, it would take me a little bit to de-transform. But from a certain point, it kept taking longer to undo. I noticed that the more my powers deteriorated, the more it happened. Now that you mention it,
能力が出せない。
I remember that though Haruka was often fatigued, there was a time she couldn't de-transform. So that means it was really dangerous for you when you last fought Hyuga. Yeah, even if I survived, I wouldn't have used my powers and likely had been stuck as Haruka. Wow, it hit me how close he was to losing everything. Fear of what might have happened and relief that it didn't came crashing over me at the same time. By the way, do you know why my powers weakened? The way you say that makes it sound like I'm the reason. Is that true? He heaved a deep sigh when I asked that. You still don't remember, not after hearing about my situation and what Tokyo said? I'm sure that'd make the commander cry. The commander? Mentioning the commander made me remember something he said a while ago. Oh, you're talking about the Bloom's rule. Remember how we're not supposed to have romantic relationships? Our powers weaken when we fall in love. Basically, because I have feelings for you, my powers started to fade. Sounds like you're the reason to me. Sorry. I apologize since I felt bad about it, but then Ayumi furrowed his brow. That's not what I meant. I wasn't looking for an apology. I just wanted to convey how much I like you. I let you go once before, so I know I might not be in any position to say this, but I wanted to tell you how I felt one more time. Thanks. I'm flattered. I was overjoyed Ayumu was still alive and that we still had a chance to be together. Could things have worked out any better? Ayumi continued to speak as I mused on this happy turn of events. I guess it makes sense that you had trouble remembering you couldn't be in a relationship. Before you joined the Blooms, the commander told Sina and Moko directly that what would happen if to their powers they fell in love, but he was vague with you for some reason. I thought about it, but couldn't come up with a good reason. I'm curious. The commander seems to give you preferential treatment a lot. Does he? Ayumu said that, but all I could think about was the commander's unusual carefree attitude. I wasn't really convinced he treated me differently. I was pretty sure the white-haired guy is her uncle, but is it the commander? Pretty sure. But it was also true he didn't tell me straight out that my powers would fade if I fell in love. Anyways, to go back to your special trait, Ayumi smiled, but the sudden change of subject made me feel overwhelmed for some reason. Tokyo figured it out. He must have compared the two of us and came up with a theory. But I know Tokyo wouldn't want to test your blood if all he had was a theory, which means he must have confirmed things first and whether were in love. Oh, my powers don't weaken even when I fall in love. I might have been slow to the uptake, but I now knew that Ayumi was trying to say I hadn't been direct with either him or Tokyo. What did you say to him? I think I have a right to know. As he drew closer to me with that smile on his face, I figured out the real reason why I felt overwhelmed. You know, I haven't told Ayumi how I feel about him yet, but Ayumu, I only told Tokyo because of everything that was going on. It happened after you said you wouldn't see me again, so I thought I'd missed my chance to tell you. I pouted a bit as I explained, and Ayumu went from smiling to sulking. I know what I was asking is unreasonable, but I was mortified that Tokyo heard about your feelings before I did. Actually, Ayumu looks a little cute. I let slip what I was thinking. Ayumu entered, entire face flushed bright red. Cute. You sure have a habit of saying what I expect, at least. Sorry, it's just you were sulking like a little kid. Speaking of which, Ayumu suppressed his real self since he was 4. Then it was probably unusual for him to talk about his feelings so honestly with someone like me, like he is now. I'd like to open up to him too. If he wanted to know how I feel about him, then I'll just tell him. I want to tell you how I feel. Okay, I like you too. I don't know when it started, but you became very dear to me. I want to be with you. I've fallen for you. Thanks for telling me. I'm glad you did. Here, hold out your hand. I did, and Ayumi slipped a some familiar looking ring on my finger. Is this? It matches mine. Since I lost my powers, I can't fight the kaiju like I used to. But now I'm going to focus on fighting my parents and the researchers to protect you from unwarranted battles. Rizzy and I aren't just people that need protecting. I was worried he was going to do something rash again, but Ayumu just gave me a soft smile. I know, that's why I want us to be together and support one another. We can mutually protect each other. I think that would work well for us. You said you wanted to be with me, so I'm not going to try and take on everything myself anymore. But I also don't want to only be reached out for help. If someone's down or needs support, I want to be able to reach out and help them too. That goes double for you. Yeah, tears sprung to my eyes as you grasped my hand tightly. Whenever you're in pain, I'll reach out to you. You've made my life better, so I'll do the same for you. I promise I'll make you happy. If I reach out, someone would take my hand. It may sound simple, but for us, getting to the point had been a long and difficult road. That's why I cherish the warmth from his hand. I hope I always would. Let's stay together always. Okay. Oh no, no music. Top secret saving. Okay, so now we need to hit the bad ending, and that one starts at. Yeah. That one starts by loading up I think it was 3-1. No. I think it's, yeah, 2-2. All right, let's see. Ritsu's your weak spot. It's true that Rizzy's your weak spot, but you're the only reason I brought her up. This is one of the things I needed to talk to you about. What is that even supposed to mean? Like I said before, no matter what others think of me, I will make sure Ritsu never knows. Thus, I won't make her sad. It'll be a different story if you told her, of course. Okay. Actually, wait, hang on. I can turn his voice back up. No. Because I love him. They can be at full power. Okay, yes. They're always going to be louder for me now. Okay, great. Okay, power up. Leave it to me. Make sure you live for Rizzy. You have to make sure you live for Rizzy's sake. I still worry about me trying to leave you behind. You can't just say that like it's nothing. Ayumi didn't seem to care about himself as usual, so I tried my best to explain. Alright, I think that's a very limited. We're not that close. We're not that close, but I like what we have right now. I don't really want to get into fights, but if this is what Ayumi really is like, I accept it. I just said what I honestly thought, and Ayumi nodded with a smile. I'll hold back a little. So have you decided not to hide how you really are with Rizzy? Ooh. Pull away? Thought so. He's basically hugging me. That's what's happening, right? I tried to pull away out of sheer embarrassment, but he had a pretty firm grip on my head. I don't want you to look at my face, so don't pull away. Just stay here a little longer. I decided to stay put. Okay. Anyways. Alright. Cast Augment. Cast it again. I rushed. Alright. Oh no, where's Haruka? A few days after my talk with Ayumu, I was summoned to the command center. We're there, but not Haruka. According to the commander, Director Mamiya had contacted them about 30 minutes before we had been called. A group of kaiju and someone resembling Hyuga had been spotted heading towards Teta, and the director wanted Haruka to go out there. Upon hearing that, Haruka left to intercept Hyuga on. You said you'd stop her from fighting alone. We run, look over there. I turned in the direction was pointing and saw two silhouettes in the distance. Burn! I clearly heard Haruka's weak cry despite the distance between us, but her flames were practically sparks by this point. End of the line. Oh no! Oh my. His ties floating in the wind. In that instant, I thought I saw Ayumi instead of Haruka. His face looked mournful as I reached my hands out, but before I could reach him, Ayumi vanished, and all that I saw was something shiny falling to the ground. Unable to accept what had happened, I hurried forward to catch it before it fell. Haruka, no, Ayume! Though Kaori and I heard Tokyo scream. Oh. Had to avenge her. Laced with pain. But their voices were the last sounds I heard. It was all as if the entire world had gone silent. I stared at the shiny object in the palms, and it was a flower crystal the same as Liz left before. He was just here alive. I almost could have reached him with my hands. Our last conversation replayed in my mind. I felt something break inside me. The love I had for Ayumu and the chance to tell him were lost forever. That I knew. I'm sorry I couldn't make it in time. But the flower crystal didn't speak. It only glittered in response to my tears fell around it. Dun 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 dun. Alright. Okay, so... Actually, I'll be the last one. I don't know what the last picture is. They all have one. Dang. Dang. These ones are both outside. This one's just cute. What a world. Okay, so... I'm debating if I want to do... I think I might do his story next, because I think I want to save his for later. I think Rose doesn't unlock until you've done 6 stories. I think. And I believe they said Ibuki's unlocks after 4, but I wanted to save his for last because he's the only one I care about. So if I don't, I won't finish his. Let's see how we're doing flowchart wise. We're halfway there. There is another cutscene here that we haven't seen. What is this? Next unread tax. I'll do it myself. Go to the business district. I picked up the business district same as last year. It's not a bad idea to start your education close to home, right? Everyone listen. Oh, there he is. Look at him. Hang out with us. He also has that tie. That is the weirdest tie I've ever seen. I want to spend time with a Kamui. Kamui? Not even I can handle all 10 of you. I'll pick the group. In fact, I've already made the slips. Everyone take one. The teacher looked unimpressed in a situation like this. It's probably best to use an impartial lottery system. Oh dear. Did I get him? But I never imagined that we'd end up being the ones paired with him. Aw, cute. He looks so angry. Let's write a report on this
楽
shop.
器作りが体験できるって楽しそうだよ。
There's a section for making your own dishware. That sounds fun. That sounds great. What do you think, Mihaya? And I never imagined we'd be paired up with Mihaya as
別に構
well.
わないです。早く終われそうだし、いいんじゃないですか。
I don't mind. Doesn't sound like it'll take too much long.
三早くんってば早く帰りたいの？
Are you
せ
trying
っ
to
か
duck
くこんな
out?
可愛い女の子たちと過ごせるんだから、もっと楽しもうよ。
Oh, you're so cute. You realize you're spending time with cute girls. Try to
そう
enjoy
いうの興
yourself.
味ないんで、楽しみたいなら、西原さん一人でどうぞ。
I'm not the least bit interested in that, but you can
三
knock
早
yourself.
くん、若いうちからそんなに悟ったこと言ってちゃダメだよ。
You walk around sound like a tout will
Ora,
fart
ora.
sometimes.
一緒にやろう。
Come on, let's do it together.
引っ張らなくても自分で歩けます。腕、離してもらってもいいですか？
Let go of my arm. Wow, those two are totally opposites, but their rapport is super endearing. They're kind of like a dynamic duo. Interesting. All right. I think we can go back to title now. I think it knows. Do
好きな
we have a green there? Yeah, we got a green there now. Okay, so we still need that. I think this has to do with just making picks. Got two. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to get too distracted. I'm going to play again in a little bit, but I'm going to take another short break. I'm going to change my outfit. I haven't decided who I want to follow yet.
これを見たい
So
の
it's
か。
going to be
セット。
it's going to be one of these two, I think, because I don't think I can do Ro's story yet. I think I have to play one more story to get through Ro. And we're at 4, and I think I need 5. But either way, I want to do one of these two. I have to decide. Like, I have a top that matches for his look, but I don't have anything purple, I don't think, in my closet right now.
こんなもん。
And then we have all these. Look at all these stories. We'll see if that leads to something else, because I'm not sure if you have to play through everyone's stories and you get like an extra story. I don't know. Look how angry he is. Alright, so we have officially got to the end of Ayumu's story. We got all 3 endings. I got another normal ending because I don't like cheating and like to just play the first raid through to see what I get. So I think I've gotten one happy ending. Actually, no, wait, was Yukonami's also just the normal ending? Yeah, I think I had to get his happy ending. So I got his normal ending too. I'm really good at getting normals. What the heck? Well, we'll be back later, hopefully soon, because my goal is to finish Peregrine Paradox before Pokemon comes out, and right now I'm sitting at halfway done. So we'll see how it goes. Have a great afternoon, guys. Bye!